I'm going to have to make a theme for you.
Yes, please. I need a new theme.
From the Hanging with Web Show TV's Bargain Basement Studio in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, it's Pillow Talk with Willow Schuyler.
Will you take me to Winnipeg?
I will, someday. Toronto, Montreal, Quebec, Winnipeg.
Now what's this guy doing up here in Manitoba?
He was holding the map up.
Every salvage mission that's been through this system has disappeared. Even those old pirates out at Winnipeg Drift say it's cursed.
Cursed. Winnipeg's got a great ballet. Have a good time, I swear to God.
Sweet guinea pig of Winnipeg! They've taken over our company!
Balderdash! I never agreed to that!
I should have stayed in Winnipeg, you know? I had a nice gallery, 3 paintings in the wall.
Are you kidding? And you look back. Born home, Quebec. Drafted out of the juniors in the 5th round to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Played for a year with the Leafs, then traded to the Winnipeg Jets, then to Calgary, then to Boston.
Wow.
So Winnipeg must get pretty cold up there.
That's it! Back to Winnipeg!
Hey everyone, welcome to Willow's Pillow Talk. I am your host, Willow's Pillow. Yes, Willow Schuyler. With me today is Nicole, my co-host from Reels and Heels, and DJ Gopher, one of my favorite DJs.
Thank you.
Let's be honest, my favorite DJ in Winnipeg.
That's sweet of you. Thank you.
I don't know anybody else.
Okay, well, sure know how to blow a mood, don't you?
Or at least none of the other DJs that I somewhat know have let me touch their equipment. Well, let me
okay. On Valentine's Day, that's not what you want to say?
All right, so we're off to a good start. So how's your day going, Gopher?
Well, let's see here. Up until now, it was rather straightforward. Then I got a little convoluted when I found out you were touching my equipment. I know it's you know what, pretty good. Yesterday, I was helping a friend of mine move the final bits of moving.
Were you voluntold?
No, I was volunteered.
Okay.
It was my option. Basically, my van was voluntold. Okay. Whether I came with my van was something totally different. But that being said, we traveled all over Hell's Half Acre. We had to do a couple of dump runs. And everything went great. He treated me to dinner that night. Him and his beautiful wife treated me to dinner. And then when I left, I had no heat in the van.
Oh.
Which was a fun ride home. And then I plugged it in today, and sure enough, heat was back. So, okay, my day was all right.
Oh, wow.
Slept till noon.
Oh, sweet. How about you, Nicole? How was your day?
It was pretty quiet here, really. Like, we just kind of hung out, and it's my one day to sleep in, so.
Everybody slept in but me.
Well, you were working.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I saw my husband off to work. I went back to sleep for a little bit, and yeah, worked until 5 p.m. and rushed home. Yeah, it's freaking cold here as usual. Well, okay, so it's minus 14 in Fahrenheit.
It's minus 30 right now.
Okay. when we say stay the hell home, it would be nice if people would actually stay the hell home.
Actually, the true temperature is minus 26. The real feel is minus 33. Now, before we start talking about lovey-dovey stuff, do you know how the real feel works?
No, please enlighten me.
A little bit of science for you. The wind chill is not, although it feels to the human skin like it is minus 33, it is still only minus 26 outside. It is the rate at which the wind is taking the heat off of the human body. Only living things feel that temperature. So if you go outside and stick your tongue to your car, it is still only minus 26. You're stupid still, but it's still only minus 26. It's just that it gets there faster. It's the rate at which heat dissipates.
I have never felt the need to lick anything metal.
Okay, I'm just not going to go further with that one.
That's why it was a double dog dare in the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Yep. Have you ever done that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sadly.
And
but I'm not
result?
foolish, so I was dumb.
There was a comedian that came out of the United States. Hilarious man. He came from LA, but I believe he was originally from somewhere in the New York state. I want to say Brooklyn. I just can't remember. Black man, funny as all hell. And he talks about going to Edmonton for the first time. And he gets into the hotel and he says to the, what's there to do here? He goes, well, there's West Edmonton Mall. He goes, how do I get there? He goes, are you walking or are you driving? He goes, well, since he gave me the option, I said walking. It was minus 40 outside. And one of his ears got frostbitten. And he gets in there. He says it looked like a catcher's mitt. Oh, and when he went inside the mall, he asked his woman, what do I do? And she said, put Vaseline on it. So he did. And then he put his hand on the doorpost outside and it froze to there. And he says, I couldn't get it off. A man offered to pee on my hand. I said, please don't pee on my hand. Anything you want to do, just don't want to pee on my hand. Cut it off. Just please don't pee on my hand.
Oh my word. Wow.
He was great. What a wonderful bit. Seen him a couple of times here.
On that note, hi, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
And my husband. Hey, okay. So me and my husband have an ongoing argument every year around this time. We're actually celebrating 20 years being together.
You have to tell her to stop touching my equipment.
So we're technically celebrating 20 years of being together fully as a couple. And so it's either he claims that today is our official day that we started dating. I say that it was a week before. Or no, sorry, he claims it's a week before. I claim that it's on Valentine's Day because he's the one who asked me out for Valentine's Day. I asked him to be my partner in crime. We went to see our first movie that we went to see was Miss Congeniality when we lived out in Steinbach. Yes. How romantic of a movie.
At least it was funny.
I would have taken you to Transformers instead.
I thought it was cute, but
Brian I's first movie was Failure to Launch.
Oh yeah?
With Matthew McConaughey and Sarah Jessica Parker.
That's why they brought out Viagra. The Valentine's Day pill.
All right, Gopher, what is one of the most requested songs for weddings?
Oh, wow. Talking in the love vein? Lady in Red.
Okay. Oh, that's a good song, actually.
It is. That one, I can almost guarantee will get requested and played at almost every wedding or event where love is in the air. Love is in the air. Every time you look around.
What, Nicole? What was your and Brian's wedding song?
What's the Ronan Keating song? What was it called, Brian? What was it called? Well, when we first, I don't know what it was called. See, this is my thing. Like, I know the words to the song, but I don't know the title of the song. So Brian's first probably like introduction to a lot of music for me was Gary Barlow and Take That's A Million Love Songs.
Yeah.
So that was like our song for a while, and then it was the Ronan Keating song that he played at our wedding. But we had a super small ceremony, so we had like dancing in the living room with 10 of our friends, and that's pretty much what it was. So it wasn't like it was a big extravaganza or anything. So
okay. Well, it's funny. Me and Joe, I think we finally decided to go with Truly, Madly, Deeply, like almost like a couple days before our wedding. And we just couldn't decide on the right song. I wanted It's Your Love from Tim and Faith. And he wanted a song called Romeo and Juliet. I can't remember who it's by right now, but I listened to the lyrics and I'm like, the woman dies at the end. That was not the song that I wanted at my wedding.
That's how you run for the hills, right?
Yeah, that's one of those things that you don't play at a wedding, no.
It's like, but it's such a great song. I'm like, no, not gonna happen.
That's when anybody says that Romeo and Juliet is so romantic, and I'm like,
I apparently couldn't decide. Uh-oh. And no, I did not say, you did too.
I love how they're arguing.
Dire Straits.
Money for nothing?
That was one of
that would have been an interesting song to play.
Brian was always in charge of the music.
I'm pretty sure you were serious about that, Joe.
No, I wasn't. No, Brian is always in charge of the music. He's always been in charge of the music.
Okay.
It's funny how I always end up that way too. I don't get invited to parties. My music gets invited to parties, and I'm asked to come along to chaperone my music. Here's a love song that should never be played as a love song. You ready?
Sure.
Oh, hang on, where'd it go? There it is. See if it'll let me do this.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, is it you that you?
Yeah. If I do my job correctly. All right, that's enough of crap.
Oh, so the basis of the song is that he's found somebody new to love. So he loves somebody. It is a love song, but I just don't love you.
Interesting.
That's what every woman wants to hear.
Isn't it?
I found somebody new. She's 20 years younger and blonde.
Yeah. Well, that's the story right there, right?
Usually, yeah.
So, okay, if you were to do your wedding over or renew your vows, is there a certain song that you guys would play?
I think that comes down to the feel of the couple, really. Right? What's a good song for me is not necessarily a good song for us. And what's a good song for you? It's not necessarily a good song for us, but there is definitely a song for us. When I was with my second wife, Kathy, our song was, my brain just stopped. Oh, come on. It was a boy band did it. No, and then so did John Michael Montgomery.
I swear.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
It's terrible when a DJ loses the name of the song. I Swear was our song. When Sheeran and I started dating, it was Perfect by Ed Sheeran.
Okay. Yeah.
The song that means something to you guys is going to be something to you guys. If I were to pick a new song for me and Kathy, it would be the one you just heard.
Okay.
I don't know. Would ours be the same, you think?
Because I really have a soft spot for this song, I would probably choose Queen of My Heart.
Oh, well, Brian says he would change it, and it would be a Westlife song. It would be Queen of My Heart, but
okay.
I'm still kind of I love Ed Sheeran, so might be thinking out loud, but
that is a gorgeous song.
Mm-hmm.
I love Queen of My Heart too, so we might have to just,
Yeah. Joe's a huge fan of Ed Sheeran, and he's always playing his music, so I'd probably have to go with him as well.
And I think it's, it might be our age, because it's popular on the radio and that's what we're hearing is that, and it's kind of reminiscent of the sounds that he says he's a smaller fan. Reminiscent of just the music we grew up with, I think. But Brian laughs because this song or this album by Westlife was Ed Sheeran helped produce it, right? And he wrote a lot of the songs on it.
This is why I'm a huge fan of Ted. I like big butts.
That's not the name of the song, dude. There's a line in the song. Although that should be a good song,
Well, after you've been married for 20 years, it's my butt was the only butt that got bigger. Brian's butt just got smaller.
My whole body got
bigger. He eats everything.
Oh.
But he can eat everything. I can't watch him eat anymore because I gain the weight instead.
Isn't that horrible?
Well, we went and got ice cream today as a treat for the kids. And so he's like, we got to go to the ice cream shop because they have a waffle sundae. And it's a Belgian waffle. And they put 2 kinds of ice cream on it, whipped cream and a cherry. And he is like, I'm going to go get this waffle sundae. And I'm like, okay. Well, I see this waffle. They put this giant waffle in this pie pan and the ice cream on top of it. And he's like, well, do you want the other half of the ice cream or the other half of the waffle with your ice cream? And I'm like, no, I just ate 2 scoops of ice cream. I'm good. You eat it. You can put the pounds on. I can't afford it.
See, we got a place like that called the Bridge Drive-In, and that is I live 5 minutes away from that place. As soon as it's open, I now walk a different route just so that I can avoid that place.
I've never been there.
No.
I drive past it all the time. Never once have I been there.
Wait, you drive in my neighborhood and you never stop by?
Well, not once. You're usually at work, And I don't want you to have to put clothes on just because I'm not.
You better not bring his equipment because that could be messy.
Yeah.
Could cause some trouble.
She can't keep her hands off my equipment.
I like all the buttons.
I got to admit that when I'm looking at a mixer, the first mixer I bought for Go For The Music when I opened it up, it's a club mixer. And the biggest reason I bought the name brand was one, because it's the top of the line name brand, but it was the pretty lights.
Yep.
I think we all like pretty light.
That's pretty much what keeps me going to his events is like all the like flashy lights.
those are two. Hey, what do you mean that's what keeps you coming?
Okay,
What's
and the
that mean?
prizes.
The prizes. Nothing to do with you.
Ooh. Well, you are my good luck tribe. I swear, I don't win at any other event but yours.
Yeah, you clean up pretty good there. So I put up another song for you. This one here, it's a love song. That was never. I don't think it was meant to be a love song, but it is a love song.
They're going to come right around over here and they're going to sing their heart out, boy, because if anybody can do it, brother, they can. God.
Oh.
Everybody from a friend of mine. He said she lived across the county line. The sweetest grape that ever grew on the vine. And now that's where I'm spending all my time. Her daddy Robert and her mama Ruth. They had a daughter they named Bobby Sue. And now she's 18 and she knows the truth. Nobody's gonna tell her what to do. Bobby Sue.
Interesting.
It's a love song. And it was actually the first dance for a couple I DJ'd for.
Okay. I actually kind of like it. Then again, I'm a country girl, so.
Yeah, I know you happen to like country music. And then of course, you can't have Valentine's Day without this song here.
She's a very kinky girl, the kind you don't take home to mother. She will never let your spirits down. Once you get her off the street, oh girl. She likes the boys in the band. She says that I'm her all-time favorite. When I make my move to her room, it's the right time. She's never hard to please.
He likes my equipment.
You know, I love how, you know, MC Hammer had ripped off not just the song, but the video in a way too.
Well, no, it was allowed. It was a collaboration.
Oh, really? I thought he got sued for that, though. Didn't
No, not for that one. He got sued for a lot of things, but not for that one.
No, it was Vanilla Ice and Queen.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
It was no, it was David Bowie because he was under
Ice
pressure.
Ice Baby, Under Pressure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing was he never gave any credit to Queen, and that's what they were actually wanting, was just a credit for the riff. They weren't looking for anything else. But no, Rick James loved that he did that.
Okay. Like the outfit in that video is like, wow.
You think?
I lived through the 80s, and that was nightmare fuel enough as it was watching my mom get ready for work.
Gotta love the 80s.
You know, here's the one thing that I never understood. My mom would have a cigarette in her mouth, and she'd be teasing her hair, you know, spraying hairspray. You know, the house never went up in flames.
Well, that's a good thing.
You know, I was young in the 80s, but I wasn't teasing my hair, but also my hair didn't do that. Like it just, anyways, you know, the saga of a girl with curly hair. Anyways, but like these girls were doing stuff with their hair, and I'm like, how could you go to a party where people were smoking and not burn up? Because they used enough Aquanet in their hair to like.
Oh, here's a name that I haven't seen
Samantha
pop
J.
up.
Piper.
Hi, Samantha.
Hey, sweetheart.
How's the baby? She just had a little baby.
Yeah, a little baby.
So, what is the worst? Like, what song do people ask for that you just like? It just makes you cringe when you hear it.
Oh wow! Anything really
What is the
metal.
worst song that?
Anything acid metal just makes me cringe. That you know what? I'm kind of numb to it. If I don't like the song, I don't hear the song.
Okay.
I just seem to zone it out. When you've been doing this as long as I've been doing this, the music is actually just background noise.
Okay.
I can hear people talking on the dance floor in a lot of cases, and they can't hear themselves. So, oh man, you're gonna come back to me on that one. Let me think about that for a moment.
For me, I'm not a fan of Celine Dion at all. There's one song that I like of hers, and that is one of it. Brain fart. It's written by the guy who wrote all of Meatloaf's songs.
Oh yes.
Everything that she ever did got so overplayed here in the States.
Yes.
That it was just it became like a cautionary tale. It was like, there's another love song by Celine Dion.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It's all coming back to me. That's what it's.
Oh yes.
But yeah, that's the one song that I like of hers. And when I heard Meatloaf sing it, I'm like, it's so much better with Meatloaf singing it.
Okay, this hat's stupid.
It's okay. I like it.
It was festive.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Now I have Rhinestone Cowboy in my head.
That's not a love song, but it's a good song.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I don't think there really is a song that makes me cringe. There are songs that are overplayed.
Yeah. Bismarck.
I honestly don't think.
Oh, but I like Bismarcky. Don't yell at me for my taste in music. It's not my fault. I'm a child of the 90s.
See, and you know what? It's funny. Like I like Taylor Swift. I like her music, and again, maybe because I'm a country girl, but I don't know. I like Shania Twain. I like Taylor Swift. I haven't had an issue with hearing either one of them being completely overplayed, but I mean, Celine Dion it's like ear piercing, nails down the chalkboard.
Some people think that about Mariah Carey too.
I don't like her either.
Depends. It really depends on the song, but when she does the high pitched squeal, I can't. I have to mute that.
She has an incredible range, so it's an amazing. Kelly Clarkson also has a range like that.
My only problem is when you do a pop song and you're trying really hard to show your range, and it just becomes like an out of place note like that.
Thank you. Yeah,
it
that's
just
exactly
doesn't
how I
seem
feel
like it
about
fits.
Yep.
And I think that's like, I love her song Emotions. I like a lot of her older stuff. I don't really like. I never liked any of her newer stuff, but
I really like One Sweet Day.
Yeah, with Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men, yeah.
And that might have been because it was Boyz II Men. I don't know.
Probably, yeah. They probably controlled her a lot during the recording of that song.
I would imagine.
Maybe there was 3 of them and they wouldn't mind having a diva in the room, but I don't know. There's just something about her that just turns me off. Like, I'm just,
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of people like that. Like, I can hear the music and it's not so bad, but like having to see it, I'm like, ugh.
Avril Lavigne was another one that I kind of like. I got over very quick.
It's because they overplayed her. Like, they played it all the time, and it was only a handful of songs, and it wasn't even the best ones she had. A lot of her newer stuff, like the more refined stuff that she's done just recently, seems just a lot better. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because we're all kind of coming into our own. Like, we're all kind of aging and wanting to age gracefully. But, and I get that you have to reinvent yourself if you want to have staying power. But I don't like Madonna for that very reason. Like, I loved her. I loved her in the 80s. I loved her in the 90s. And then when it became Ray of Light and all this like dancey, it just didn't
She
sit
never
well with
plays
me.
in my city.
I saw her in Toronto. She was wonderful.
She'll go to Toronto, she'll go to Vancouver, but she never plays in Winnipeg.
It has to do with the amount of people that she has access to.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, Cher's been here quite a few times, and
she's not as much as a diva, I don't think.
You'd think that they'd find the biggest cities to play though across every province, like they do here. I mean, like, I'm totally. Brian dropped this news, and I just about died. So Westlife just posted that they were gonna have an 18-month long tour, and it was in the works to come to the States. And I about died because I'm like, this was something we were only gonna have to be able to do if we ever went to Ireland, like, or somewhere else, you know, out of North America, because they weren't touring here. And so now they're gonna tour here. Well, they left their record label, I guess, on good terms, but I'm super excited about that. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out and whether we can get tickets or not, because I'm dying. I want to go so bad.
Well, it's funny. Aqua set up a tour for their first Canada tour a couple of years ago. I'm just like, I have to be there. And so, of course, it was like a huge 90s tour. It was Aqua, Prozac.
I remember that. Yeah, I wanted to go so bad.
So good. And then they announced they announced another tour. And sadly, the pandemic happened, so hopefully they'll come back. But I'm a huge Aqua fan. I've been an Aqua fan since the age of 14. So of course I'm gonna be like,
well, you are a Barbie girl.
Center.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not gonna yuck on anybody's yum, because I was the biggest New Kids on the Block fan, and living in Michigan, I was a little late to the party. So I never got to see them in concert, and my mom wasn't going to take me because my mom was like that. And I vowed to never be like that, but I'll probably take my kids to the most awful things because they want to go.
That's the way
it's
to
your
do
right as a parent to drive your kids nuts with your music.
And I will take them to my music, but I will take them to theirs too. Like, I will make sure. And I'm not saying, like, I went to cool concerts with my mom. I saw Kid Rock twice. I saw Jethro Tull with my mom. You know, it wasn't like I didn't see cool stuff. It's just I didn't get to see what I wanted to see. And so when they came back in 2008, I was at that concert in Las Vegas. I missed my 10-year class reunion because I went to the New Kids on the Block concert instead. But
you know what? If they ever come to Winnipeg, like, I know that they were here not that long ago, but if they ever do decide to come back, I want to be there.
And then we saw them again. We saw them both times. They were in Vegas, and then
weren't they touring with the Backstreet Boys about 10 years ago?
We didn't get to see that tour. And I wanted to, like, the Backstreet Boys will go on tour because DNA came out when the pandemic started, and so they'll probably go on tour again, and we'll go see the Backstreet Boys. But you know, I think it's a very quintessential 90s thing to be a boy band, you know.
Okay.
Boy band girl.
Backstreet Boys were great. I liked their dancing, but 98 Degrees had better songs.
I won't
I go way back to New Edition.
Uh-oh.
Well, you know, I was a New Kids on the Block girl, so
Are you
for
even old
me
enough
and
to be a New Edition girl?
huh?
Are you even
I wasn't-
old enough to be a New Edition girl?
No, I'm not. I would have gotten in trouble if I would have been listening to New Edition.
I'm probably old enough to be your dad.
I would have gotten in trouble. My mom would have got. I don't think I would have been able to listen to music like that.
I think it like certain members of New Edition. Yeah. You know what? R&B was pretty much what I listened to mostly in the 90s. So yeah, it was, yeah. Come on, Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown.
DeVoe. You know,
I like Bobby Brown stuff. The Floor, one of my favorite songs by Bobby Brown.
Okay.
My Prerogative by okay, now that's gonna bug me. I gave you another song to pop up there.
Oh, okay.
A good old love song. Yeah, that's also Bobby Brown.
There goes my heart beating, 'cause you are the reason I'm losing my sleep. Please come back now. And there goes my mind racing, and you are the reason that I'm still breathing. I'm hopeless now. I'd climb every mountain and swim every ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken. Oh, 'cause I need
This song hits every nerve.
Yeah. Definitely is. Yeah.
And one of the things I love about that video is that it kind of covers the gambit. It shows multiracial. It shows same sex. It shows a father for his daughter. You know, it touches all the points of the heart.
Is there a song that you refuse to play at any of your socials?
Oh yes, Stairway to Heaven. My line is, I play that once a year. I played it last month. You got 11 months to wait.
What song is that?
Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, because it's like a 90-minute song.
Yeah, well,
right.
It's not that. It's just that, you know, when I was learning to DJ, we played it not once but usually twice at an event, and that really got on my nerves. It really did. I learned to dislike the song before I went on my own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I learned to play it on the guitar, and I don't know how. I don't know who taught it to me. Guitar.
When I was doing my radio hosting about 10 years ago for like the online stuff, it was a top 40 station that I was working for, and I just couldn't stand listening to anything from oh wow, I'm having a brain fart moment. Bieber. I refuse to play his stuff.
Bieber.
Yeah, I just refuse to play his stuff. And it just got to the point where, you know, anytime that someone requested a Bieber song, I'm like, nope. Oh, look, I lost the connection to that.
Nice.
His new stuff actually isn't all that bad.
Well, he's grown up.
Like his song with Chance the Rapper and was Holy and Lonely and something else. They're actually decent.
Well, like I said, he's grown up a bit.
I mean, I'll stick a screwdriver in my ear if I ever hear Despacito again. But, you know, the newer stuff isn't so bad. Like the Lonely. Like
how about I Wear Speedos? Have you heard that one?
Oh my God, no.
I like this song too.
Wait, yeah.
Yes, Milo, what is it?
Miss, it seems that my friend and musical partner Simon has fallen ill. Please allow me to take him to the school nurse.
Of course you can, Milo, but make it quick.
Do you want to see me dance like a white girl?
This song is awesome.
Tell me, Simon, what seems to be the problem?
A little sexual frustration combined with lack of motivation and a loss of concentration. I got a strange disease. I can't concentrate on work.
See, I remember the songs you used to request.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sweating through my shirt. I got a strange disease. 2 weeks ago,
you said you wouldn't leave me, and here I am alone.
Oh my God. Okay, so I went to their last concert. They stopped touring now. They've completely quit, and I cried. I honestly cried and I got a picture taken with them. The guy who does Milo, he smiled and everything for the picture. Simon, not so much. So I have this picture of me like doing this. Simon's smiling, Milo's smiling, and Simon just looks very depressed. So that's my lasting memory of that band.
So when I was in high school, and like right after high school is when Blessed Union of Souls came out, and every song on the CD was like something I would belt to the ridiculousness of the speakers in my car when I was driving anywhere. And then so they came to a radio festival. I think it was in I can't remember if it was in Auburn Hills or somewhere back home in Michigan. And we went, and I wanted to go, but I was between boyfriends. And so my ex-boyfriend was supposed to go with me, and my new boyfriend went with me. And so we were all there together.
And you were in between them.
I kind of remember why I didn't really want the new boyfriend. Like, you know, I was still kind of living in the past. But there's a picture of me hanging out with the guys, and I'm just like, that's the best. You know, like that was the best part about it. Like there's pictures of all three of us together because, you know, my ex-boyfriend ends up, he's still a good friend of mine. So it's not really a thing. But he was there hanging out with us, and I got my picture taken with Blessed Union of Souls. And I'm just like, they were when they tour again after the pandemic, because I know they've got new music out. I'm just excited that maybe I'll get to see them again and relive being 18 again.
If you had to say you had a favorite love song, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know what? John Legend has some really good music, so wow.
Yeah, John Legend, what a voice. How about you, Nick?
Mine would 100% be A Million Love Songs by Gary Barlow.
Beauty too.
I'm you know, I'm the youngest 40-year-old on the planet because I'm still rocking, you know, calendars and stuff.
You're doing good.
That one, or the song that Heath Ledger sings to Julia Stiles in 10 Things I Hate About You on the stairs. I just love that scene from the movie. And I know that I'm dating myself very much right now, but I very much loved that song and that whole scene from the movie, and still to this day my favorite movie of pretty much all time.
Okay.
So I gave you the video for my all-time favorite love song.
Okay.
And I don't remember the first time I ever heard it. All I know is that ever since I can remember, if anybody asks me my favorite song, this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stonewall.
Love 'em and leave 'em, give them the air, hurt and deceive them, say you don't care, break their hearts and let them fall like rain on your back step, call me up tomorrow, you know I'll still be there when the moon disappears forever.
Oh. Wow.
Yep.
I don't think I've actually heard that song before.
I've actually got a story about that song. What's the meanest thing anybody's ever said to you?
I can't think of it. There's been a lot of weird and mean stuff that was said to me, so I can't really pinpoint just one thing. So
it's like I don't know. I grew up the fat girl, so there's a lot of mean things that got said to me.
I grew up
So
a fat girl as well. So no, I was at karaoke with my ex, and I saw that song on the list, and I was like, "Oh my god, they've got this song." And my ex said, "Please don't sing it. I love that song."
Oh. See, me and Joe, we joke about things like that with each other all the time. So I'm sorry that you're. I'm sorry that
what
was
a
said
mean
to
thing
you.
to say, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
It is. It is. Like, I'll only say it to people like in a sarcastic manner, but apparently my sarcasm gets taken way too serious.
Here.
Though that's the opposite for me, because what happens is like people expect me to be sarcastic, and so when I actually am being like genuine and they're like, why do you have to be like that? And I'm like what? I was being serious. Like
I've got to run and go get ready for my show.
Oh yeah.
Pick up in 10 minutes.
We
so
should
I put one more song there for you.
Okay.
For my outro, it's my favorite love song from a movie.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're flying at
oh yes.
feet, moving up to 30,000 feet.
Oh my god, I love this.
Skies all the way to Las Vegas. Right now, we're bringing you some in-flight entertainment. One of our first-class passengers would like to sing you a song inspired by one of our coach passengers. And since we let our first-class passengers do pretty much whatever they want, here he is.
I love this movie.
Me too.
Fall with you.
When your tummy aches, build you a fire if the furnace breaks. So
Yep. My favorite movie love song. And you will not believe how many times I've played this at weddings.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. All right, Willow, I want to say thank you for having me on.
No problem. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Love you both.
I will check out your show later.
Happy
all right?
Valentine's Day to both of you.
Yeah, you
You
as
happy
well.
Valentine's Day.
I love
Talk
the
soon.
background, by the way. It's
Oh,
really
thank
cute.
you.
Say hi to John, and happy Valentine's Day to both of you.
John's just around the corner. I make sure I say it to him.
All right.
Oh, he says thank you.
Oh.
See you guys later.
See you later.
All right. So if did you want to hop off, or are you good to go for a little while longer?
I'm good to go. I have nothing to do. Well, I've papers to grade, but they've waited all day. They might as well wait another hour or so.
Your husband sent me a link to a song, so let's see what what he has in store. Gary Barlow. Of course. All right.
Like, it's the 90s, so there's got to be a little bit of saxophone.
Yeah,
there.
oh yeah. At least it's not Kenny G.
Oh, yeah. What are we watching? Oh, I'll tell you in a second. Gary sing. That's the longest intro ever.
Against my life. What do you hear? Million words just trying to make a song of the year. Close your eyes, but don't forget what you have heard. Man is trying to say 3 words, words that make me scared. A million love songs later, and here I am trying to tell you that I care. A million love songs later, and here I am. Here I am. A million love songs later, and here I am.
All right, that's enough out of that. That's a really sweet song, actually. But yeah, thank God that wasn't Kenny G. I know you guys probably like him, but
no, Mike Stevens is great. It's just that yeah, I think Kenny G just gave everybody that played saxophone a bad name.
But he's the musical director, and he's been with him since 1993.
And okay, so Brian says that Mike Stevens, the guy who was playing the saxophone, was the musical director for Take That, and he plays with Gary a lot. But since 1993. Okay, Ryan, jeez. And he's very talented too. So it's just a different style of music.
Take That is a really great band, though. Like, I love them.
Well, Kenny G, like, we were Brian after the Super Bowl and after the weekend got all the hate that he got for this bizarre, what they considered bizarre, too artsy, boring halftime show that they gave. He kind of like took a deep dive. Brian went into the rabbit hole of the weekend and kind of researched some stuff and listened to all the music and watched all the videos that told the story. So he is a lot like Michael Jackson in the short films that go along with the music. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that we were watching it, and every time there's a saxophone in the weekend, Kenny G was freaking playing it, and I'm like, Jesus, here we go.
See, I think the problem with Kenny G for me was it wasn't like he wasn't playing his own stuff. It was always a rendition of someone else's songs.
And maybe it's just that he was an instrumentalist and not a songwriter, probably. But yeah. I can. So I looked up the 20 worst love songs, and of all time by the DIY musician. And so it's from 2014, but I think a lot of it like probably is true still. Taste of My Love by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I like Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I've never heard this song, so I don't really think I want to at this point, because the album cover, I mean, I know it was probably the 70s, early 80s, but they're all with button-down shirts and they're all open, which there you go. That's probably why. Song by the Crystals called He Hit Me and It Felt Like a Kiss. Miles Away by Winger. Love Injection by Bango Tango. I Used to Love Her by Guns N' Roses. The comedic romanticization of murdering a woman who was either an unbearable nag or completely justified voicing her concerns about being in a relationship with a drug-addled narcissist.
Okay. Interesting. That's a interesting thing.
Every Breath You Take by The Police. Because that's a stalker song.
You know what? Yes. Yeah. Please Tell Me Clay Aiken's song is on there too. Fly on the Wall.
There is a Michael Bolton song on here.
Oh, interesting.
It is I Said I Loved You, But I Lied. And I'm just going to say, like, I hate Michael Bolton.
I don't like him either.
It's such an earwig of a song. Like, you hear it and you'll sing the damn thing. But I hate the song. And I'm like, what's in my head? Oh my God.
Hold on, though. Like, I'm not a Michael Bolton fan, but the song he did with Lonely Island, the Captain Jack Sparrow song, that was pretty funny.
Oh, did you hear Brian?
I'm going to have to look that up. I know that, like, he was on Lip Sync Battle, and he did like a rendition of Gangster's Paradise.
Yeah.
The best lip sync battle, Tom Holland.
Yeah,
Yes.
Tom Holland's lip sync battle was the best. Like,
Yes.
Rihanna.
he did Rihanna's Umbrella.
Oh, he did
that was
such
amazing.
a great job on that.
I'm just like,
Hey,
there is
Ryan.
no. Hi, Ryan. Ryan's Superman.
Yeah, that is a great picture. Oh, which rat is he holding? Or
This is caramel. I think. Why is he wet?
Cause the milk from earlier.
oh,
He's breathing really hard. I don't know. He was a little bit littler than the other one, so maybe he got taken away from his mommy too early.
oh. Hmm.
Stripe went on a little adventure underneath the dresser yesterday.
Uh-oh.
And so he it became the rat show again, sorry.
It's okay.
He was little. He might not make it.
Is he not feeling good?
He's not breathing so good, and he's kind of lethargic.
Oh.
Stripe was bigger.
I haven't seen him eat
and older.
anything. I haven't seen
Well,
him
maybe put him back in his cage, and hopefully
him eat anything since we got him either.
Well, put some milk in the dish and see if he'll drink it. He drank a little bit of milk today. I don't know. Evaporated milk is what they said on the website.
Okay. Well, yeah. Hopefully you can fix that. I'd hate to see you guys lose a family pet.
Well, the only reason we got another one was because they say that they're kind of supposed to be together. You know, they're social animals. They live together.
All right. So there is one song that I absolutely love, Meghan Trainor, like I'm Gonna Lose You.
I love that song.
It's like I have to stop and sing it every time I hear it.
Yeah.
Self-dreaming, it's over and gone. That every book God knows. You're walking on the line. You pull me close. Split second and you disappeared, and then I was all alone. Woke up in tears, right by my side. Breath of relief, and I realized
I've never seen the video for it.
tomorrow. So I'm gonna love you like I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna hold you like I'm saying goodbye. Wherever we're standing, I won't take you for granted. 'Cause we'll never know it when we're walking inside. Gonna lose you. I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna love you like I'm gonna lose you.
See, I don't want to get in trouble by Facebook, but I'm sure it's already been done several times over now. Oh yeah, Sony Music Entertainment blocked several of the music already. Oh, that's okay.
So the other songs, Truly Madly Deeply makes the list too.
Oh really? Whoops.
And Love Stinks by the Jay Giles Band. But I actually like that song, so I Do Anything, but I won't do that. I Do Anything for Love, but I won't do that by Meatloaf.
I do like that song, but yes, it's been overplayed.
And Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison.
Mm-hmm.
And Tonight by Enrique Iglesias.
Oh.
Eternal Flame by the Bangles.
Hey!
I know, I'm really upset about that because I really like that song. And then I Want to Kiss You All Over by Exile, which I can understand why, but at the same time, it's still a good song. You're Beautiful by James Blunt. My Heart Will Go On
because
by
it was
Celine Dion.
overplayed.
Your Body is a Wonderland. I do like that song though, but yeah, I understand.
There are some songs that are just stalker though, and like, and people complain every year about Baby It's Cold Outside. Like, I don't know, that one song from Clay Aiken just, every time I heard it, it's like, wow, this couldn't get any more stalkerish.
I mean, what can you do? There's always going to be that song that's just like, what the?
The song "Call Me Maybe," even like first few times that I heard it, I'm just like, why do people like this song? It grew on me because my husband played it over several times, but
I do, like there's a lot of songs that people just don't like. Like I like the older stuff too, but like Rolling Stone put out a list of songs that they never want to hear again. And Joe Cocker's song "You Are So Beautiful" is on the list. But I'm like, I love that song, and I don't feel like I have heard it 1.5 million times. Like, you know, like some of the other songs, like you've heard 1 million trillion times. And then Extremes, More Than Words are on here too. Like, I really like it.
Oh my God, Lady in Red is on the list.
Yeah. One Direction's Little Things.
Elton John's Can You Feel the Love Tonight? My God.
Dave Matthews Band's Crash Into Me, which I hate to say it. I agree with that song because I hate that song. I'm not a Dave Matthews Band song. Like, I feel like everything that he ever did got so overplayed.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's not talented. I mean, they are. He is. I feel like I spent a lot of time having to listen to his music. So my heart will go on. I Just Called to Say I Love You is on there.
How do you guys feel about Jeff Healey?
Jeff, that's the guy that was in Roadhouse, right?
Yeah. Here, I'll play his.
The blind guy. Play the song.
You'll recognize it, right?
Girl, you're looking fine
tonight.
I like that song.
Every guy has got you inside. What you're doing with the crowd like these.
Sorry, very bad video.
Is surely what life's little mystery.
Stars above. How did I ever win your love? What did I do? What did I say to turn your angel eyes my way? I love Jeff Healey. I miss him. I miss his music.
There's just some like tried and true lyrics there. Like, I don't know.
It's one of those songs that gets you right in the heart, and it's like that instantly feel better when you hear it.
You do. You got you get the feels. It's all right in the feels.
Oh, I think Facebook just cut me off. That's okay. We're still live on YouTube until they kick me off.
I always laugh about like the 2000s, like the 90s and the 2000s, because they did have some crazy songs. So like,
okay. According to my husband, I just got killed on YouTube as well. Oh well. That's okay.
Love on the Brain by Rihanna. All of Me by John Legend.
Mm-hmm.
Stay With Me by Sam Smith. Thinking Out Loud, which I really do love that song.
One of my favorite songs from Jewel is on the list. You guys are no fun. Rolling Stone, you don't have good music.
I know. Well, maybe it's like it got overplayed, which
maybe.
You know,
but that's the song that I like singing at for karaoke. I mean, I can see why James Blunt is on the list. Yeah, beautiful.
I just feel like, but Daniel Powter's Bad Day is on there. And I'm like, I like that song. Hey there, Delilah. Another little bit of stalker song there too.
Yep.
Hey, soul sister. But I like that song. So Closer by the Chainsmokers. I really feel like that one got played way too much.
Yep.
Just way too much. But I love cheesy love songs. There's just some, some sweetness in it. Oh, top 10, the 11 best cheesy love songs of the 2000s from collegecandy.com. Maroon 5, She Will Be Loved.
Yeah.
2, John Mayer, Daughters. 9 Days, Absolutely, The Story of a Girl. This is the story of a girl. This is the story of a girl. And I can't remember the rest of the song. Anyways, there you go. That's how important it was. Evan and Jaren's Crazy for This Girl. Trains, Drops of Jupiter. LFO, Every Other Time. Every Other Time. Ryan Cabrera's 40 Kinds of Sadness. Your Body is a Wonderland. Rob Thomas's Her Diamond.
Oh my God, Rob Thomas. All right. How about this one?
Lord.
Hey.
And it was in White Chicks, which makes it even.
Okay, it's better done with with a certain actor.
Terry Crews. And the music video made me sick. Like, I was motion sick. I'm like, why are we riding on a piano?
Okay,
Why?
I know a song. I know a song that like was overplayed. What is that love song from Twilight? The girl.
Wait, Joe loves that song.
Which song?
The song from Twilight.
Yeah.
Which one was it?
It was overplayed on the radio.
Oh, I don't even remember. I don't care. I hated Twilight. I hated the book. I hated the movie. We've established this, I thought. I thought we established just how much I hated the song. Or the movie. And Kristen Stewart. And anything Twilight related.
I don't even know the song, but I'm
Except for Peter Facinelli. I do like Facinelli still.
Anna Kendrick.
Oh, and Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick. I don't mind her, but she wasn't a starring role, really.
I think the best thing though that actually came out of that was Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, as soon as he wasn't in Twilight anymore.
Well, he was the first one to tell you he didn't even like Twilight.
He'll be a decent Batman someday.
Well, I mean, he is proving that vampires do turn into bats.
The cowl. He can wear the cowl, and he can do it. I think.
What? I'm actually looking forward to his Batman and seeing where he takes it. I'm willing to give him a chance.
I'm hoping that he plays it kind of like I hope he plays it like people have been saying, is that, like he is Batman, the alter ego is Bruce Wayne. So the uncomfortable person should be not Batman, but the Bruce Wayne that he has to put to the world. Yeah. Because that's his alter ego. The angry person in the bat suit is who he is.
Yeah.
The face that he puts out to the world is his alter ego. And And nobody's played them like that.
This is the song. It's called 1,000 Years by Christina Perri.
That's right.
Oh, 1,000 years. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so sorry. And I was all about it. I was all about it for a while. And I really I didn't like Twilight as much, but I really did like New Moon. And my whole thing about that is I liked the werewolf story and the lore. I really liked the lore.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to see a whole lot of shirtless Native American boys running around? They were the sexiest part of the whole movie, honestly. They were nice looking guys. Although Taylor Lautner is way too young for me. But
I can't watch that movie. I cannot sit and watch that trilogy. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I just can't sit and watch it.
There were so many things that were better. The entirety of everything that L.J. Smith ever wrote was better. Which I'm not going to say that it was stolen. I'm not going to say that Stephanie Meyer stole that from L.J. Smith, because I'm absolutely not going to say that. The premise was different. But the Vampire Diaries, not the television show, but the books were much, much better. And pretty much everything else she wrote in that vein. She wrote the Secret Circle books, and those were amazing. I read them twice. I read the Vampire Diaries. I think I only read them once because they were hard for me to get through. But there's another series.
Didn't the True Blood books come out before Twilight?
Yeah, True Blood came out before Twilight too. And True Blood was pretty good. I liked Midnight Texas better, but I think there was a whole heyday of Elvira Pops. I haven't seen an Elvira Pop yet.
Okay, speaking of Elvira, so she's on an app called Cameo. Okay, she was supposed to do. Quit tempting me. I don't need any more pop figures. But yeah, she was supposed to do a live chat with her fans on Cameo. She ended up canceling today. But it's funny, I'm not sure how much she actually charges for her videos. At one point, I swear it said around $300. But yeah, here it says, due to a technical error relating to timing length of the calls, Cameo will be canceling the scheduled Cameo calls event with Elvira today. We apologize for the inconvenience. So yeah, I didn't get my video.
Ryan, you need to stop encouraging him. I'm driving you down here, and you can pack them in a box and move them the next time we move. Because, dear God.
Okay. I have two that I willingly bought myself. I have a couple other pop figures that I've been trying to sell. And I have a couple wrestling pop figures. I'll post them to my page later, but I've been trying to get rid of a couple of them because I got them from a convention and I really don't need them. $10, people, $10. That's all I'm asking for is $10 each. You guys can, or the whole lot for $60.
I need to know, what are they?
No, do not tell him.
There is a couple wrestling figures, but yes, I'll post them up on my page later. Star Wars poster. Okay, I definitely want to see that Star Trek poster. But no,
not a Trek girl.
I don't need any more pop figures because I'm sorry, just like Beanie Babies, you're going to end up having a shit ton of these things that you're thinking will bring you in money later on in life, and you're just your whole house is just going to be covered in them.
Well, I do have a Maleficent that Brian bought for me, and I have Dean and Baby, and I have Castiel, Sam, and Dean from Supernatural, and I do have Alexis from Schitt's Creek, which I will collect the Schitt's Creek ones, and I will collect now the Gummy Bears ones because I love the gummy.
No. I'm not hearing this. No. They're not bringing out the Gummy Bear pop figures.
Yes.
No.
Yes, they are.
No.
Sunny and Gruffy and I can't remember, but it's Sunny and Gruffy and somebody else. There's 2 more. So, and I figured there are only 4 in a series, but Brian,
My thoughts exactly.
There's a handful. Yeah, sadly, we have like a bajillion.
You're only watching Cheers now?
How is this even possible? Like I watched Cheers before I knew what Cheers was.
Oh my God. That was one of the shows that I watched as a kid. That and Night Court.
He is younger than us, remember?
That is true. Yes,
so,
that is true. He's 10 years younger than...
Well, we watched Night Court and we watched... I watched all kinds of shows I probably shouldn't have watched.
I can't find Night Court on DVD anywhere.
I don't think it is. What was the other thing? We were talking about it the other day, Bri. We just end up watching old shows that we, grew up with. And I'm just like, oh my God, Moonlighting was another one that I watched.
Oh, I love that show.
And I loved Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd just for whatever reason. They were just fun. And it was a fun show, even though I don't think I should have been watching it when I was watching it.
Oh, no. There was also that show, Small Wonders.
I loved that show.
Oh, you want to know a show I love? And it's not on streaming or DVD anywhere? Out of This World.
Oh, Out of This World. Do you remember Out of This World?
Where the dad was an alien and the mom was just a regular human and she can go like this and freeze time and do all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, the little girl.
I don't remember that one. Huh.
She was blonde and she could freeze. She'd go like this and she froze time.
Huh. I'm going to have to look that up because I may have been moving around at that time, but.
So when I was a kid, I grew up in Michigan. So for whatever reason, there were times when we got Canadian things like they broadcast where I was for some reason. So when I was a little kid, I used to watch this cartoon called Kissifer. Please tell me you know what Kissifer is.
Oh, God.
A little bear.
I should know this. Kissifer. Okay, the art looks familiar. Animated children's. Okay, I may have watched it as a kid, but more so.
It was an American show, I guess, but and he lived with his uncle, I think.
Why does he look like Teddy Ruxpin?
I don't know. And it was on. I guess the reason I remember it, and this is gonna be sad, and I don't mean it to be, but it premiered on NBC the year that my dad died.
Oh,
so I was watching this show, and this was probably one of the shows that I was watching pretty religiously when I was after that. So I'm just for some reason, nobody knew Nobody could understand. It was like a father and son. Gus was his dad.
I wish I could remember. Like, the art does look familiar. Was there books?
I think so.
Okay, maybe
The Adventures of Gus and Kissy, for a father and son bear duo who had joined the circus. Kissy and his father used the skills they had acquired from the human world to create a boat tour business, transporting other animals and their products down the river.
Okay. I may have, you know what? There's comic books of it, so I may have come across the comic books.
And I can't find it anywhere either. And I run across people that are like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, it could have just been an obscure show that I was the only one that watched it. Maybe that's why it only lasted 2 seasons. But that is one of those things. It's like, if I love a show, it gets canceled.
Same. And then when I hate them, they stay around for 10, 12 years.
I mean, the only time that I think the shows have lasted really long enough to where I felt like it lasted too long. Like, I love Supernatural, but even I can say there were seasons that I didn't.
The Walking Dead needs to end.
The same appreciation for it. The Walking Dead's been on too long. I loved Bones, the first maybe 3 seasons, 4 seasons. And then once the 2 characters that have all the, I liked Moonlight too, that have the
I know.
The chemistry, when they get together, it just seems like the show loses its spark. And so but I'm telling you, that show, this show had Alex O'Loughlin in it, and he was, and what was her name, Brian? The girl, Elizabeth Rome.
Okay.
And he was a vigilante vampire, I guess, like a do-gooder or something, you know. And it was a good show. And I think this too, Ryan, I totally 1,000% agree with you on this. I don't know how that show is still on. I don't know who watches this show.
I don't get it either. Like,
I think these people should be shot.
When reality TV first started happening, like I watched the first Survivor, and I watched the first Bachelor, or not the Bachelor, the roommate one. Brain. Oh wow! Why am I brain farting today? Anyway, so I watched 2 of the major reality shows, and that was enough. Like, the first season of both those shows was enough for me. I do not find entertainment in causing chaos.
I don't either. I don't understand Big Brother.
Thank you.
The Real World was fun, like the first couple of seasons, and then it was really played out. Like, it wasn't fun anymore. And then there's just little things like that you're just like, you know, and if I'm going to watch TV, I don't want to watch reality TV. I want to watch something that takes me out of my reality and puts me into something that's completely, you know.
I deal with enough douchebags at work. I don't need to watch them on TV.
Right. I agree 110%. So our poor Carmel is going to pass tonight, I think.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
When I went to the store, they didn't have any of the same age. And so I was going to buy a buddy for Stripe. And so I bought a week younger. Yeah. And I think she was just too young.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
To be away from her mama. So
did you need to take off and take care of your family?
The bath, and I don't think I want to tell them. It's really sad because they were so excited. They were so excited. So excited. Alphas is better than half the shows on TV today. What's
See,
Alphas?
I'm not even sure. I barely watch TV.
I watch a lot of stuff like streaming now, but I've been late to the party on everything.
This has become my entertainment, watching everybody else's shows. Us doing ours, and then I watch Brian's and Ted's, Ryan's.
My thing is Brian will tell me which ones I need to watch and which ones I don't need to watch because I just don't have enough time in the day. Because really, a lot of times, if we're not actually really watching a show that I'm invested in, it's just on for noise. So if I'm grading papers or if I'm doing dishes or whatever, it's just on for noise. So there's stuff that I've watched a million times, but I'll turn it on just for noise because it's on.
Yeah.
And that's just me. Like I need the noise. But we watched Schitt's Creek and that was one show that I'm glad that I did get to watch because I was late to the party on that one. We were late to the party on Kim's Convenience. I watched Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and I'm telling you that show, in so many levels.
I recorded the new season, so I actually probably have a couple episodes to catch up on.
So after it went off and we were doing the whole pandemic thing, and I was like, okay, so will they come back? Because, this could be a death wish, just like the writer's strike was a death wish for a lot of shows. And so I was super excited
blessing
when
for
they
some
got
others.
True. But I was so glad when it got greenlit for the second season and they were writing the second season. And I have to say that it's just different. Like it is a different kind of show.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for something that's different and something that's enough to hit the heartstrings. But it's fun too.
I wasn't a fan of Glee. Well, I tried watching Glee a little bit, but it never clicked as much as it clicked on other people. Smash, however.
I watched 2 seasons of Glee, and then I think I just kind of stopped watching it. And we just stopped watching it. And I never watched Smash, although I was told multiple times later on that I should have watched it.
It was like the first season was good, and then they tried doing the second season, and it I don't know. It's almost like watching a drunk person get drunker, and it just you can't do anything to stop it.
A lot of people said that Hell on Wheels was good, Ryan. I didn't watch it. I tend to be kind of picky. Like, I want it to be well written and I want there to be really amazing dialogue. And so I loved like Everyone and Gilmore Girls and a lot of the stuff on the CW, which was just, it needed to be a witty banter with heartfelt moments. Like I needed something like New Girl. Like I loved New Girl.
That was a good show.
I just wanted something that's different. And Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is like that. Like I know it's a song and dance show, but it's all the really great things you love about music because music says things when you can't. Like
I love how people are like, oh, that's not reality. Reality, you don't sing and dance for no reason. I'm like, you obviously don't know me very well.
Well, I think that the funniest thing about that though really is like, no, we don't. But a lot of times it's in our head. So like if you're a fan of music and you love music and music's always been part of your life, it becomes part of like that soundtrack that plays in your head when stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And like, that's what Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is for me. It's like, and the dialogue is written. So you kind of like, man, I wish somebody would have said that to me. Like, damn, you know? And then the song always goes along with whatever's going on in the scene. And you learn a lot about people by the music that they're, listening to. And I'm like, you do learn a lot about people.
Yeah.
And, I always laugh because I know it's not how life is, but that's how life should be. It would be a lot more fun. But I think when we talk about music, I think it's funny how we're like, oh, that was a terrible song, or oh my God, I wish I never had to listen to that one ever again. And just happens to be like certain songs I'm like recently on the radio, because I only listen to the radio. I listen to Sirius XM when I'm in the car. And so really that's about all the music I really listen to is whatever's on the radio and whatever Brian's playing or whatever I play on, or I put on Amazon. So, like whatever I tell him to play, it's on some, mixed top 10 list or whatever. So I don't listen to a lot of out of the box stuff. Like if I'm listening to it, it's because of Brian.
Yeah.
So there is a song by Olivia Rodrigo, and she's relatively new, and it's called Driver's License. And I have to hear that song every time I'm in the car. And I drive 40 minutes to work. So I almost hear it twice on the way to work. I hear it at least once on the way to Huntington. And then I hear it at least once on the way home. And I'm like, if I never hear this song again, I could die a happy person, because this song, and it's relatively new. I think it's only been on the radio maybe 3 weeks. And I'm like, if I never hear this song again, I'll be so freaking happy.
Okay, that is my huge problem when it comes to top 40 radio stations. Like I've lost the passion for pop music back in the 90s. Like, what was it? Come 97, once like all the boy bands started, Britney Spears came out and all that, I couldn't listen to pop music. I had to stop, and I switched to country, because for some reason country just had more more feeling when it came to the writing of the songs, and it spoke more to me than pop music did. And I mean, come on, when one guy can write a whole group, never mind, Queen, when they wrote music, they actually wrote freaking music. Okay. Now you get, 20 producers to make one freaking album for one singer.
Yeah, and
it's
my
not
concern
good.
is, well, and it's not music that anybody really like. I want it to mean something. Like, Brian went down the rabbit hole for the weekend, and so we were listening to a lot of his stuff, and I'm like, if you get past some of the grittier stuff that's about sex and some of his earlier stuff, and you start listening to really listen to the words of Blinding Light and Save Your Tears and some of the other songs, and you're like, oh wow, there's some real thought put into that. And people that actually write lyrics to really write lyrics, like there's not a lot of people that are doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad to see that music doesn't mean as much anymore.
That's just it. Like I love listening to groups like Sugarland, and the first album of Sugarland, the woman who wrote most of her songs with Jennifer Nettles ended up leaving to become a full-fledged songwriter in Nashville. And I mean, yeah, sure, it's great with Jennifer Nettles and the guy, but I miss the trio of Sugarland. But good on them for doing what they did, and but just something about the feeling of their music, just I lose myself.
Back. They have a new song out, I think.
Oh, you know what? They've released, I'm glad they're back. Another album that I get to buy. But it's kind of like Lady A. They release music constantly.
Well,
and it's great. Like, I love Lady A. I love their sound.
So, I love a lot of different kinds of music, but so when the kids at school talk about the music that they're listening to, I'm like, that's not music. And that, I know I sound like my mom, like I'm sure I sound like my mom when she would talk about New Kids on the Block or something like that. Like, I'm sure I sound like that, but they're not saying anything. They put a lot of words together that rhyme, and they can do it all to the beat of a song, to the music, but it doesn't mean anything.
But when it's like one sentence just repeating for the whole song for like 5-6 minutes, no, I'm sorry, I can't. There has to be a little bit more to it.
And I like fun. I like fun music. I like music that makes you want to dance, and you want to kind of like, you want to sing with it, and you want to be excited about it. Like, I understand that I'm probably too old to say this, but I love the Jonas Brothers, and it's hilarious because I liked their stuff when they were young, and I like their stuff now, and they have changed a little bit. And I like their solo stuff too. Like I loved DNC, and I loved Dan CE, and I loved a lot of Nick Jonas's stuff that he did by himself. And it's songwriting, and like really thinking about what they want to say. It's like people don't do that anymore. Like these kids are listening to stuff that I'm like, they're just talking about sex, and it's not even talking about sex. Like it's not even talking about sex. Like it's not even like Salt and Pepper talking about sex. It's like or TLC talking about sex. It's just it just
TLC's Red Light Special gets me all the time because it's like I love that song so much, but then I'm like, there was I think one day where it actually hit me. It's like, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah, that's what they're thinking about.
Since I was like 7. Not a song that you should be singing.
I'm like, wait,
I knew the words off by heart for that song.
What a man! Like I'm like, I was like, wow, I was like the youngest, dumbest girl. I don't know. Like, the small town girl, I guess. But I was like, oh, that's what that means. What was the other song? I was thinking about that the other day. The OPP, right?
Oh yeah, you down with OPP?
So like, I was kind of old by the time I realized. Was like, I was jumping around the living room singing that song, and I'm like, oh my God, that's what I was singing. I was like,
yeah.
Okay then.
But it's funny, like you don't realize how dirty these songs are until like later on. And then I think it was my mom, my foster mom, who told me one day that I should be listening to more Christian music. So I bless my foster mom for being stupid and trying to sway me in the right direction. But I started listening to like actual rock bands, Christian rock bands, and I got into a group called Plum, and then I got into like Sonic Youth and all that other stuff. And I'm listening to it, and she goes, "This is crap. This isn't Christian." I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
Brian's like, what about Ugly Kid Joe? I was like, oh yeah, well. Well, what's the song about that Ali Murr sings? And I was singing it one day, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a dirty song. It was, I never. I'm that many years old what were we talking about yesterday that it took me that long to realize that's what it meant. Oh, because Brian said something about putting something in my box.
Uh-oh.
And I said, why is it called a box? And so he laughed because I said, well, just put it in the box. Oh, we went to McDonald's. Okay, we went to McDonald's and there's half a cheeseburger that Oliver didn't eat, and I said, just put it in the Big Mac, just put it in my box for my sandwich.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, that's not all I'm going to put in your box. And I'm like, and then I turned to him and I'm like, why the hell do they call it a box? And he's like, I don't know. I mean, besides you can put in it, like, Justin Timberlake said. And I was like, I think that came before that. And so we laughed. And so he looked it up, and it comes from William Shakespeare. What was it from? The William Shakespeare's As You Like It. Was it As You Like It? No, not As You Like It. I can't remember. But there's like a quote from William Shakespeare, and it's like something about her vanity in the box or carrying something. I don't know. Anyways, it's essentially his dirty mind, I guess. So William Shakespeare was dirty too. Anyways, I mean, even sex sold back then.
This is something I definitely need to Google.
I don't know why, I don't know why it all of a sudden came out of my mouth. I'm sorry, like we've derailed.
No. Shakespeare. All's well.
All's well that ends well.
Yeah.
What is the quote?
Yeah.
Let me see it. We lost her.
Sorry, no, it'll. I'm not even sure how to Google this.
Well, no, I got it. It's right there in the top.
No, it's all's well that ends well. Oh, she says she wears it in honor. She wears his honor in a box unseen that hugs his Kiki Winky here at home, spending his manly morrow in her arms. So essentially, his Kinky Winky.
Okay, I actually have a Shakespeare book, but it's upstairs.
So it makes me laugh on all the things that we call things. I don't know. Happy Valentine's Day.
Of all
Here's the etymology.
To Google is
the etymology of the word box.
Okay, so I can tell her how I Googled it. I'll private message her it.
He'll just probably send you the Reddit page. But yeah, you really can find anything on the internet. Just putting it.
Yeah, but there's like certain things that you should not Google, especially with kids around.
Hashtag dino porn.
Oh Lord!
Then again, if you want to teach your children certain things.
Considering I already have a Van Wilder, I'm good. Like I am telling you, Oliver is the reincarnation of this character in so many ways. Like, if I think we should have named him after the character. We should have named him there. Because
speaking of.
She was a baby. I think she was just too young.
Give it.
What is that? Is that a snake?
Interesting.
By the tiny little army that I made. But yeah, he's Van Wilder. Ryan found an Imaginext Catwoman, and he says, "Oh, hey, Oliver, who's this?" And Oliver went, "Boobies."
Nice.
So essentially, he'll be my keg stand kid. He'll be doing keg stands at frat parties when he's like 17. and he's going to have a high school girlfriend that he's going to knock up, and I'm going to be a grandmother way too early. I'm just readying myself.
Well, just teach them how to use a condom, and just make sure that
wrap your yeah.
That's what the king says.
Yes, wrap your whopper. But yeah, but we are teaching the no means no.
Oh, good.
No means no.
That's important.
Although, unless mom says no, and then no, it doesn't mean anything. But if another girl says no, no means no. If mom says no, she's joking, apparently.
So since
yeah.
it's like past 9:30 and it's almost 10 o'clock, I need to ask this. Have you seen the post in Uncle Carl's Secret Humor group about if sex was a crime, how long you would be locked up?
Oh,
So, how long did you say you would be locked up?
46 years.
Wow. I'd probably be locked up for a very long time myself.
So it says, so if sex was a crime, how long would you be locked up? Nudes on your phone, 3 years. In the shower, 2 years. In the car, 2 years. In a bed neither of you owned, 5 years. With the lights on, 2 years. In the dark, 1 year. In public, 4 years. Outside, 3 years. With food, 3 years. With toys, 2 years. While drunk, 3 years. While high, 3 years. With a friend, 4 years. With a stranger, 5 years. Threesomes or moresomes, 4 years. Same sex, 3 years. Someone off limits, 5 years. An ex, 3 years. Before 18, 3 years. Owning toys, 3 years. Watching porn, a year. Made a sex tape, 5 years.
That's going to take me a while to tally up.
Brian says, hey, do you need a calculator? And I'm like, well, no, because there are small numbers I can count. But there's only like 3 things on the list that I haven't done. I don't get high. So I would never have done anything then. I don't generally have sex with strangers.
Of course it was John that posted that too.
It makes me laugh though, because, you know, I feel like I am a more straight-laced person, or at least I try to be when I'm on shows and stuff. Maybe not your show, but
that's the beauty of the show. Just talk what you want.
It is what it is. But I'm really not. Like, everybody's like, "Oh, you're a good girl." I'm like,
you know what? No, I'm probably more vanilla than you.
I mean, I'm pretty vanilla. Like, there are some things when people are like, what does that mean? Like, what was the thing that you said? And I was like, I don't know what that means.
I said a lot of things.
So, I did not know what a dirty Sanchez was. And Brian says, you don't want to know what a dirty Sanchez is. And I was like, I think I'll maybe not Google it.
I think thanks to shows like Family Guy and yeah.
But like
I know that, but
I had to like Google some stuff. Like, kids would say stuff. Like, 15 years of teaching has taught me a little bit. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And they'd say something and be like, don't talk like that in here. Like, so do you know what it means? And I'm like, no, well, I'm Googling it right now. You know, like, because I was like, you know, I'm pretty, like, I was a late bloomer. Like, I was real late, you know, like, I didn't have my first boyfriend until I was 17. I lost my virginity like 20 days before my 18th birthday. It was not a thing. Like, and it wasn't something we talked about either. Like, it wasn't a thing that anybody talked about at my house. and my friends didn't talk about it. And so I learned a lot of stuff from TV, which in most cases was wrong. And then, I guess I was lucky because I've not been with very many people, but I was with decent people that didn't, I don't know.
I think Valentine's Day, has a lot to do with certain things too, like leading people on. They think Valentine's Day is this.
What the hell are you talking about?
Like when it comes to relationships and that type of stuff, Valentine's Day.
Oh, well, I don't just have sex with people to have sex with people. That's not my thing.
No, me either.
And so I think that's part of the other thing that's hard being 40 and figuring out who you are sexually. It's I'm glad I'm in a committed relationship where it's monogamous and I don't have to worry about anything else.
Yeah.
But when you talk about being interested in other persuasions, then it becomes an issue. And then it's well, that's not how I do things. I'm a one-man girl. I'm a one-person girl. I don't think that I don't think I could ever have more than one person. I'm just super jealous too. So that's not a very either. But and that comes from honestly probably just being a fat girl all my life. It's I've never felt like I was good enough, and so when there's conversations like that, I'm just I guess I'm probably not. Maybe that's why I'm just the way I am. But music and stuff kind of
it's still when other guys try to flirt with me, I feel weird because I've never growing up, I was always called ugly and I've always been the strange person, very awkward. And, now it's I'll get the odd guy that flirts with me. And I'm just I really don't know what to do with that information.
Well, and even earlier, when I sat down to the show and you said, "Oh, you're gorgeous," and I just, how I don't know how to say thank you. I don't know how to take a compliment. And it's not like people don't compliment me. People do. I just don't know how to take it.
Yeah.
So I had a student and he says, "Just smile and say thank you." And I'm it seems so easy. It really does. It seems like it should be so easy just to thank somebody. But you always think there's an ulterior motive. You always think that there's a reason why they said it. And I'm why do I have to be like that? Why can't I just be oh, well, thanks? No, I got to be stupid and say, well, just shut up and say thank you.
I'm the same way. I am very much the same way. No, it's I'm getting better with it, and thank God for therapy. I'm trying now reworking my brain. It's amazing how much you pick up in your life that you realize that is totally not. You shouldn't be thinking that way.
It's destructive.
Yeah, and I appreciate my therapist for having the patience she does with me.
I have not been able to find one that I felt. I have a blame problem too. The one that I was seeing, he was but you never tell me why that bothers you. He said, you bring it up here, but you never talk about how it makes you feel. You make excuses for the people who said it to you.
Yeah.
And I'm but I don't know how not to do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, I mean, I don't want to say I didn't have a terrible life. I mean, listening to a lot of people's struggles, I really had a pretty charmed life. the worst thing that happened to me was, losing my dad and having a mom that wasn't always emotionally available. That's the worst thing that ever happened to me. Nobody ever hit me. We weren't poor. I didn't know. I knew where my next meal was coming from. I knew, I was lucky.
Yeah.
So to complain about that just seems messed up to me.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Mittens wants to be a scarf. But it's amazing how, as you age, how much you pick up for when you're trying to deal with shit in your life that seems to be going down the shitter. You pick up some really unhealthy coping mechanisms, and having to retrain yourself, and realizing later on that, wow, that my coping mechanism that I have is not good.
Yeah. Because when your coping mechanism is your default to get through a lot of things, you put a smile on and you make a joke and everybody assumes that it doesn't bother you. And so when something does bother you and you have a genuine reaction to it, and then you feel like you have to apologize for just reacting the way any normal person would have reacted, only you've held it in, for however long, and then you're over the top. Then you're like, well, I didn't realize that it was going to be like that. People's time is more important than me. I don't need a gift. I don't need a gift. Time is important, and then little thoughtful things. And it's not even buying me anything. I don't need anybody to buy me anything. I can buy my own shit.
Yeah.
And I do. But I don't need anybody to buy anything for me. I don't need gifts. I need people to designate time for me. And when they say they're going to do something, fucking come through.
Thank you.
And, and maybe that's just a product of my childhood. Maybe that's really what it comes right down to, is if you say you're going to be there and you're going to stand by my side and you're going to do whatever, then fucking do it.
Yeah.
That's always been my thing. And, it's little, and it's the other things. It's you don't have to go out and buy me something. I would rather take a homemade gift. I would rather have somebody do something unexpected for me. If I came home and the laundry was done, or if I came home and the dishes were done, or if I came home and dinner was cooked, those things are so much more important than anything else. And so, I think people get the wrong idea when you have a reaction to it.
Yeah.
I'm
when I'm overly stressed out, and this happens quite frequently at work, where, even today, having, my shift supervisor tell me something and then she changes her mind, and I'm just just make up your mind, and I meant that more as a joke than anything. And then she took that in offense. I'm just I'm sorry. I'm a very sarcastic person.
Well, and I'm a very sarcastic person too, but a lot of times my default is, yes, sarcasm, but it'll be making some sort of joke. And so my default is humor. So I'll make a joke instead of making myself feel bad. And sometimes I'm the butt of that joke, because if I say it first, then you can't get to me because you're going to say it.
Yeah.
And so I assume that people are going to say things they're not even going to say to me. And I still do it. I'm 40. I'm probably always going to do it. And I don't mean to, but it's easier for me to express that than to let somebody else do it for me.
Yeah.
I cannot deal with, like you said, what's the meanest thing anybody's ever said to you? There were a lot of mean things said to me. But probably the hardest thing was, the kid on the bus, like the whole earthquake, and then he'd throw himself to the other side of the bus. And I'm like,
Yep.
I really wasn't that heavy. But he knew he could get to me. And that's exactly what he did.
Yep.
So, I mean, like stuff like that. And as I got older, it was easier for me to make some kind of joke, that girl in the room, kind of whatever I could do to deflect. And that's how I did it. And
I learned over the years to laugh with them whenever I got teased. And it just became, once I stopped giving them that reaction and learned how to, it's not so much ignoring that. It never went away. Like the teachers would always say, ignore it and they'll stop. Yeah. No, it got worse if I tried to ignore it. But once I learned to laugh with them and, kind of did the opposite of, them calling, whenever I got called stupid or ugly, I'm just like, yeah, I am, what's it to you?
But in that self-talk is what got us to where we are. It's like we allowed people to say that, we let it get in there, and now we say it to ourselves. And I'm like, I had to teach my kids not to say that to themselves. I had to teach my kids not to be like that. Nobody ever says that to you. You have no reason to believe that. So it's a way that I feel like I have to protect them now because I know what I did to myself. And it wasn't that.
But it also became, I purposely tried, learned bigger words and added that to my vocabulary. And so just to make myself, it's weird. Like I wanted to be more intelligent or seem more intelligent to people. And I've always, I've always hung out with the more intelligent crowd because I want to learn from them, because I hate being called stupid. I hate being treated like I'm stupid. That is very
hard.
Unhealthy.
That's the hardest thing too, because, and being a girl too, on top of that, is like, oh, well, she's a no because she's a girl. It's like, no, I don't know because I've never had to. Not because I'm a girl. I don't know because 1, maybe it's not interesting to me. 2, maybe it was never a thing. Like I'm not ignorant because I'm a girl. I'm ignorant because it wasn't interesting to me.
I struggled so much in school that now that because I struggled so much with like I had a learning disability in school, and it kind of carried over into my adulthood where I'm afraid to go to college. I'm afraid to actually go and take an actual real course because I have no capacity, brain capacity to read textbooks right now.
Well, but a lot of that, like for me, I was smart, but there were things that I wasn't smart in. So for whatever reason, I could use it as a I don't want to say a crutch or whatever, but like I was not a math kid, but I excelled in other things. So I was super excited about the other things, and math just became a non-issue for me.
Yeah.
But, and I considered myself smart. I didn't consider myself stupid by any stretch of the imagination, but I didn't feel like I was incredibly intelligent. I wasn't anything really, I couldn't have been part of Mensa or anything like that. But smart, there's a lot of different smart. Like, I think we sell ourselves short. We should embrace what we're good at. And I think that's smart doesn't come from going to college either. It comes from life experiences and being around people that you can learn from.
Yeah.
Not everybody learns things one way either. Like, we all learn a certain way that works best for us. Like, I would rather have a conversation with somebody to learn about stuff.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm
yesterday
a visual,
was amazing.
I'm the conversation in the classroom is where I learn a lot, like from the teachers actually going through the stuff that they're teaching. I'm a visual learner, so if there's any visual aids to help along, or stories or something that I can relate to, that'll help me learn whatever subject that I'm learning. When it came to broadcasting, I hated reading textbooks. I learned nothing from the textbooks. When I actually got into the studio and you taught me how to do the editing and it was actual hands-on, that's where I excelled.
And it's something that we don't do anymore, to have like apprentices and things where you're actually learning while you're doing the trade. I think that's important because we don't all learn the same. And some of us didn't have the same opportunities that others had too. So like for me, I got to go to school, and granted, I have $123,000 in student loans, which, dear God, but, I do have 2 degrees and I do love what I do. So it's not like I'm, I came out of it better, but I learned more when I had my own classroom and my own set of kids. And, and there's still things I learn every year where I'm like, well, shit, I did it again. Like, should have been meaner the first couple of weeks of school. And I should never tell them to talk because they'll come into it their own. But I have to learn to wait for that. And I don't want to wait for it. I would rather, have them just come in and talk to me, because that's how I function. But that's something that makes me feel better. And we don't all learn the same too, because of opportunities or because of situations. Like, you might have had a learning disorder, but how many schools did you go to?
Way too many.
And when you put down roots, did you get pulled out? Like that.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing. Like, those things matter. And I think we don't realize how important that staying in one place is to the way we learn.
In my last foster home, I spent 7 years in my last foster home, but we moved around way too often too. Like, it wasn't just, going from one, I wasn't in one school. Like, I went to 4 different schools just in that, like, I finally managed to get out of band class and into an art class where I absolutely loved the teacher. And I was having fun. I was doing something that I actually enjoyed. I hated band class. And then my mom's like, okay, let's go move to Blumenort. I had no choice but to go back into band class. I did not have a choice to just take a spare or just leave the classroom. And so I had to play the flute again. I had to share the flute with my foster sister.
In those things, I think all of those things make us the people we are, but at the same time, they make us the neurotic people we are. Because I was in band too, and I enjoyed it. I think that was probably what got me through high school.
Pie taught us
Shut
everything.
up.
My God, no, and it's funny because my sister Tara, she has has a worse anger issue than I do, and she throws like if she's pissed off, she throws shit. She threw the flute and she broke it. So yeah, oh yeah, the flute that we were sharing was my foster mom's, and she was a pretty good flute player apparently in her younger days, and she won awards.
Hold on. First, she's talking about touching people's equipment, and now she shares flutes.
You know, normal people did not put their flute there. My flute had its own box.
I never went to band class. I never went to band camp.
I went to band camp for 4 years.
I don't think that was a thing that exists. I don't think that's a thing that exists in Canada.
Maybe not.
Like
the marching band thing here.
Sports is a huge thing here in Canada, mostly hockey, but it's not like it is down in the States with college football, and it's not one of those things where it's like you learn to play the band.
Ours is there's a band thing that goes along with the whole high school football thing, but I 100% know where it comes from, but I was in band for 4 years, and I think that's a lot of what got me through high school. And I had a group of friends, but you know, and this is the other thing about school that people don't really realize is like, I always thought that I kind of was a nice person, but apparently I wasn't. So like, and I thought I was, I didn't call out other people. I didn't pick on other people. I just, if you didn't have, I didn't go out of my way to make time for people, I guess. And that was a me thing. Like, I'm shy. Like, I build walls up and hide myself because I'm uncomfortable. And it's not anybody else's thing. So, Facebook is this whole world of people that friend you because they knew you 15 years ago. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm friends with a whole bunch of people from my class. And some I talk to, and some I've talked to more now than I ever did when I was in school. And so there is a girl on my Facebook page that wasn't very nice to me when I was in school. And she had a handful of things to say about, you know, fat people and whatever.
Oh, God.
And then when she found out that I also had kids that were right around the age of her kids, she started following me, and she'd make comments on my stuff, like, boy mom stuff. And, like, oh yeah, well, we had the same thing happen to us. And I'm like, I know we all grow up, and I know that you can't always hold people to the way they were 15 years ago because shit happens.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you could have just been nice to me 15 years ago. I'm not saying we could have been friends. Like, we might not have been friends, but you could have just been nice to me.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't have killed you. And then there's a kid. Well, he's not a kid anymore. Like, we're not kids anymore. But he is in a group that I'm in, and that group will remain nameless. But he is in the group that I'm in, and he was like, hey, we're in one of the same groups. And I'm like, oh, well, which one? And he told me, and he starts talking to me, like, with like whole conversations in Messenger. And I'm like,
huh.
You wouldn't talk to me when we were in high school like this. Like, why are you going to talk to me now? And I know that that's the wrong way to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like,
that's exactly how I felt too. Like,
I don't feel like I've changed much.
This one guy that I kind of grew up with throughout my time in foster care. I went to a couple different schools, and he happened to have been at a few of them. So we went to one school in elementary together, and I wanted to hang out with him and his group, and they wouldn't allow me to be part of their group, even though we had the same interest. Like, we were all video game nerds, and they were having these great conversations about different video games that they played, and they were acting out scenes from Mortal Kombat, and they wouldn't allow me to be part of their in crowd. So that I kind of got hurt by that. Junior high, again, having a couple of classes with him, and we talked a little bit here and there, but nothing too substantial. And high school, having a couple of classes with him again, and it is just we were always seeing each other in passing. He started coming to my Starbucks and talking to me more and more. And then it got to the time where we were going to be celebrating our 10-year anniversary graduation, right? And he goes, "Are you going to come?" I'm like, "I have no interest in going. Like, nobody really liked me in high school." And I'm like, "And for that matter, you never liked me." And I think that was the wrong thing to say to him, because he just kind of stopped coming to my Starbucks. And I'm like, well, and then of course I felt bad, and I was trying to search him out and just to talk to him about it. And I'm just like, now I feel like a jackass because I just kind of pushed this guy completely away. But at the same time, it's like, I was protecting myself.
Well, but I think a lot of times people don't realize that we all have the same insecurities. And so now I kind of like one of the girls that was the meanest to me. And I was just like, and it was like the covert mean, like not outwardly mean, but just little like mean girl stuff. And I found out that later on, like her dad was a big time, vet in our town, and things were great and everything. I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of people that will end up watching this, and I'm not going to name drop, but to come find out that, she was gay. And so I kind of was like, well, you know what? That's why you were the way you were. And so I kind of, what? No. You had ice cream.
Oliver drank all my smoothie.
Oh, just, whatever. Just have two. You can have two. Two. Dos. Du. Two.
No.
Drink some milk with strawberry quick. There you go. There's your smoothie.
That's the other thing I got in trouble for. And Oliver's like, "You forgot to buy us some chocolate syrup."
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Jesus. I'm getting 3 because he's 2.
Aww.
Oh, see, this is why I love my husband.
Aww. Happy Valentine's Day. No. Oh my God, Brighton, go away.
Uh-oh. Trying to do the puppy dog eyes on you?
Oh no. I told him he could have a couple of cookies because we had ice cream at like 6:00. So of course he's still awake and he's like, "I'm hungry." No. You got 3. You're good.
But I want to.
Nicole,
you had 3.
He's the human version of my cat Twinkie.
Yes, well, I've seen your cat Twinkie, and Brighton can't be like that. Twinkie is a giant cat. I don't need a giant 10-year-old.
Twinkie will bug me for food. I'll give him snacks. He'll be fine for a couple hours, and then he'll bug me for food again. And he'll like knock stuff over. Or he'll like throw temper tantrums. And he screams at us. You have cookies. Did you eat all of them?
That's funny. Don't wake the cat. It just cracks me up because, like, and I understand where this comes from. So it is what it is. But like when I was going to WIC to get formula for the boys, so when I could qualify for WIC, so when I took Brighton, he was underweight. He was always underweight. And they're like, well, it's normal for mothers, that are overweight to have children that are underweight. And I'm like, why is that? And they're like, well, and I was like, oh, so you mean that you think I'm starving my child because I don't want them to be fat? And she was like, well, it's just common. It's just common. And I'm like, really? So my other son, Oliver, was 9 pounds when he was born. So he was a big baby. And that was the opposite. He was overweight. Why are you overfeeding your child? And I'm like, I'm not.
Wow.
Like this kid sat on my boob for 8 weeks. I couldn't shower without this child. Like I never produced enough milk for him. So when he got put on formula, he ate in a month, we got, I think, like 11 cans of formula or something. We had to buy 2 extra cans of formula in that month because that's how much he ate. And I'm like, the poor kid was starving for 8 weeks. And you, because he was a 9-pound baby, assumed that I was overfeeding him.
That's crazy.
And I was like, for heaven's sakes.
When I was in nanny, I was watching 2 babies. They were pretty much like 9 months apart from each other, or 10, maybe 11 months apart from each other. Anyway, so the one, the oldest was this like giant freaking kid, like Michelin Man baby. I shouldn't make. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be making fun of big babies, but I mean, like,
fat shame the babies.
You needed. He was a hefty child, and he literally would polish off 2 bottles before going to sleep, and the other baby was pretty much a normal size kid, and maybe ate half the bottle before she fell asleep. But it's just like, that's crazy that there can be such a contrast between children.
Well, now Brighton is my heavier kid and Oliver's the thinner kid. Now they were both skinny when they were 6. Brighton doesn't grow as fast as the average, kid because of his hormone deficiency, but he just hasn't grown up. Like he grows out, but he doesn't grow up. And so that's been a lot of the issue is like, and so he's like, well, today you called me fat. And I said, no, I didn't. I told you didn't need to eat every time you were not playing a video game. Like he was playing a video game. And then as soon as they turned the Xbox off, it was like, I'm hungry. And I'm like, no, you're not. How do you know what I am? And I'm like, because I know what it's like to be bored. Yeah. Like I have done that. I still will sometimes sit in front of the TV and not be hungry, but find something to snack on because why not? And I'm like, that's my own, set of problems as far as my weight is concerned. But like, I do tell him, I'm like, I don't want you to be like me. I don't want you to be heavy. I don't want you to have to deal with that. I don't want you to have to not find clothes. Like if you're short and fat, you're screwed. And, like I told Brighton, I said, it's not that it's not that you're fat. It's that I don't want you to ever feel the way I did. And, and Brian has the opposite problem I do, is tall and skinny. And, they don't make jeans that are 30, 32. They just don't.
You have a question.
It says teach them well. It's an apple. The Whitney Houston song.
Oh, okay.
The children are our future. Teach them well and then lead the way.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know that I'm doing that.
You're doing fine. You're doing.
This
You're a great
pandemic
teacher.
is killing me.
Yeah. Oh no!
Oh, no,
Roland,
no.
thank you for
Ask.
joining the conversation.
Ask.
That's what we appreciate. That's what we want is the audience participation.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny how we talk about the things that happened to us when we were kids, because I can't really think of really outward things that made me the way I am, but I'm always really confused by the amount of people who say something now. Oh, you're beautiful, or oh, you're this, or oh, you're that, or like, generally kind of sometimes makes me uncomfortable now, because I'm like, where were you when I was 18 and couldn't deal with this? Like, what are you doing?
I was just seeing the comments.
Oh.
I can't see.
So it's still one of those things that kind of weirds me out. I don't think anybody treated me badly when I was in school because I was a big girl. I just think that maybe I didn't get, it's like the typical teen movie trope that I was the fat girl.
Hey, can I just say something?
I was the fat funny girl.
Can I say something? Just to keep it kind of back on the track of Valentine's Day and stuff. Hold on, no. Do you remember in high school those damn Valentine dances and like all your friends had their girlfriends or boyfriends, and then you're just sitting there on the wall like watching them?
Yes, I was queen of the wallflowers.
Way too often. But okay, here's the thing. And when I was in, what was it? The third foster home that I was in. We had to bring home letters for our parents to sign. I often forgot those letters at school, or forgot it in my backpack. And then, of course, the day of the dance would come, and it's like, damn it, I forgot to get it signed, right? So I became that one person that would, forge signatures just so that I can join in on the dancing.
Our lives of crime started so early. We didn't have to do that because our parents had to take us back to school to go. And that's like the rule. Like when you lived at a rural school, our dances weren't after school. They were after 5. So they were like from 5 to 9 or from 6 to 8 or something crazy like that. So like 8th grade dances, we'd all go to the gym. My parents would drop us off, and then we'd go to the gym and we'd dance around for 2 hours. Not really dance around. We would jump around and scream at our songs because that's what they still do now. Yep. And then they'd pick us up and we'd go home. Now, high school dances were a little different because you had to buy the tickets and you had to do the whole dress and the whole caboodle thing. But like, I would go to the dances. I just never had a date. So I was the singer girl with all my friends.
Yeah.
It sucked. And I was like, I was that kid. Like, you didn't ask me to the dances.
So as an adult, would you say that's the equivalent of being the designated driver?
Oh my God, yes.
Yes. Yes. Because I'm sitting here, I'm not having any fun, and now I get to drive a whole bunch of drunk people home.
Oh God, yes.
So we're all gonna go to the restaurant, or we're all gonna go out somewhere after this, and I'm gonna be the one that's watching all of you necking each other. Great. That's fun.
It was funny. There was one time where I think this was where I realized dressing in costume was actually fun. Elementary, I got my first Power Ranger costume, the Yellow Ranger. Okay, my mom, this was the first time that my mom had clued into how nerdy I was.
Can I just say a quick RIP to the original?
She was amazing.
Yes,
I loved her.
Absolutely. This was the year that my mom bought me the Power Ranger coat. Like she bought me the Power Ranger gloves that made the sound effects that played the music. she got me a Power Ranger blanket. She bought me the movies. She got me as much Power Ranger stuff as she could get her hands on this year. And it was just like, for my birthday, it was just like Power Rangers everything. Oh, and that was also the year that I was hooked on Crash Test Dummies as well. Not just because they were a Winnipeg band. They were really good.
They were fun though. Like, I liked their music too.
So I came into school Halloween. We had a dance, and I wore the whole suit. Now I don't recall taking off the mask very often, but I was just dancing, and I actually had a group of people around me because thinking that I actually could dance. Thinking back, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I danced like Elaine. But I think at that time, everybody danced like Elaine.
Yeah, that was middle school. There was no real dancing. We just jumped around a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that was like the first time I realized that, wearing, finally being someone else was fun.
This is maybe my whole thing. Like, I love being in costume too, but
do you have that picture of Poison Ivy? I can send it to her and she can bring it up.
I don't know. My Poison Ivy?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably on my Facebook page somewhere. So Brian, a couple of years at the conventions, we were going a lot. Brighton was like, I wanted to dress up because he was friends with Cosplay Michael. And so he was like, well, I want to do something. And I said, well, what do you want to do? And so I created this whole Ash Ketchum costume for him. And that was the same year that the one day he dressed as Ash Ketchum, and then the other day he dressed as Indiana Jones. And I really think he had more fun as Indiana Jones anyways. But so I have an Indiana Jones hat. And so he had I bought him a khaki shirt and the whip and the bag and he wore my hat and he had a belt and his boots and everything. And he didn't have a jacket, but it was okay because everybody still knew who he was. And he was just really excited about it. And he had fun, like posing and stuff. And so I think that was the same year that Brian's like, well, you should dress up too. And I'm like, the hell am I going to dress up as? I'm not, who am I going to dress up as? Everybody doesn't look like me.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's the whole point. I was like, but these girls are running around with no clothes on. Like, I can't do that. And he is like, so do your own take on it. And I'm like, okay. So I decided that I was going to do Poison Ivy. I dyed my hair red. Oh Lord, I dyed my hair red. It was totally red. And I bought a green shirt. I wore my cute pants, and I bought a doctor's coat.
Okay.
And so I bought a doctor's coat. I made a little Wayne Industries badge that said Pamela Isley on it. And I glued they all ended up coming out, but I made myself a headband with ivy around it. And I put the ivy inside the sleeve of the jacket and everything. And I drew it on my face. And I just did like green makeup, not like full green makeup, but like drew ivy on my face, and I had green makeup and green lipstick. And it was okay. People were like, oh, well, that's an interesting take. Didn't, win any awards or anything, but it was my first chance at doing something. Oh, and I bought these amazing vintage like shoes, which are so cute.
Yeah.
Not so comfortable, but really cute. And I love them, but they're not very comfortable because they're heels. This big heel. They're really not that high heel, but like they're heels. And it's a thing for me. So like we had such a blast that year, and it was so much fun. So I was like, well, we should really do that more often. Well, to find things that I'm comfortable enough to try to make my take on, I'm just not like, and I don't have the skills. Like I can't sew and I
don't sew either. Like that my closet cosplay the other day or during John's show, that just like that came out of my freaking costume chest. It's just I know I had like everything red, and then I just pulled the hat, the visor off. But yeah, no, I don't. I hand sew. I have a sewing machine. I have yet to actually sit down and use it. Is everything okay?
Like he found it. He found it, and he's going to try to send it to you so you could put it up. But it was something fun that I did. And it was just interesting to see that, some people understood, and they understood why I wasn't, prancing around and, I'm just not that. He sent it to you.
Yes, he did.
I'm not that person. Like, I can't be that person either. Like, I'm not going to run around with my ass hanging out. Like,
like
have clothes on.
Elvira's pretty much the most risque I will do.
But I'm one of those.
That's a nice picture, though. I like it.
So it's a headdress kind of, I guess. It's really kind of big, really. But I put, if I'd had more time, I probably would have gone out a little bit more. But it was a little bit. It was enough people knew who I was. So I was like, well, I had fun,
It looks good though. I like it.
And my shoes were vintage shoes. Hey, go grab my shoes. And I wear them to school. I've worn them to school a couple times. Like, not the most comfortable shoes in the world. They're right there on the corner there. And I love them. They're like an olive green color. Brian's going to bring them over because I'm neurotic and love these shoes. But I wish I could buy more shoes like that, or this type of shoe, because they're that like a vintage type shoe.
Yeah.
And so it was like a 40s type shoe. And I was like, well, I really like that. So I bought those shoes and I wore them to the con, and they were not comfortable there either, but beauty is pain. But we had a good time, and I always wanted to be more body positive, but I'm just not there. Like these girls that can run around with no clothes on.
Yeah, good on them. Like wow. I don't think I could. I did wear just like a bodysuit for my Power Girl costume, and that took a lot of guts on my part to not want to put on my pants right away too.
Yeah,
but
it's funny though, because you're like. Because that's my thing. Like when I was looking for stuff to cosplay, I was like, who's the character that I could be who's the character that's fat enough that I can be? And I'm like, there we go. There's that destructive talk again.
Yeah.
Like it's in my head so much. It's like, I'm not allowed to be anybody else because I'm too fat. That's not fair. That's not how we were when we were kids, when we were dressing up in costumes and loving it.
Yeah.
That's not why we cosplay. That's not why we have that fun. And that's not, and it's not fair. Like we set ourselves up to be less. And I don't like that. Like, I don't want to prance around. Like some of these girls, if you're comfortable with that, then you know what, more power to you. If you're a tiny little thing and you want to dress like Pikachu with your ass hanging out, hey, more power to you. But, and I only say that because it literally is what I saw. But the rest of us who are going to try to find a tasteful way to dress our age and our comfort level, like that's my whole thing. It's like, I'm like, I love some of these other cosplays where,
oh yeah,
I would love to do like a road cosplay, but there is no way that I would wear a yellow jumpsuit. Like, it ain't happening.
The morph suits that are out there today are really great, but you have to find the right one that will actually complement your body. I made the mistake of trying to dress up as a Spider-Man character, and it did not do me. I refused to wear it again because it just to me it didn't look right.
Well, and now this is the other thing. Now you have to be like all worried about cultural appropriation and all these things too. It's like, well, you can't wear that because you're not whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, Oliver loves Black Panther. Loves Black Panther. And he wanted the costume and he wanted to wear it to the con, and I told him he couldn't wear it. And I'm like, I just dashed some kid's hopes, because he loves Black Panther. And I'm
okay, you shouldn't have to tell a child that they can't dress up as a character that they love, but at the same time,
because somebody told them they can't. Like, all these girls that are dressing up like Moana, let them dress up like Moana, because it's not the Hawaiian part of her that they're trying to dress up as. It's the spirit of this girl that was triumphant. That's what they want to dress up as. That's who their hero is.
I have always wanted to dress up as Pocahontas. Like, I love that movie, Pocahontas, from like the Disney Pocahontas. And I have always wanted to wear that outfit. I wanted to do it justice. But, the last thing I want to do is piss off my Native friends.
Well, now, back in the early 90s, before all this stuff became a thing, I was an Indian princess for a long time. And that's what was on the costume, Indian princess. But my mom added all of the really cool, beadwork and stuff to it. So, like, all the fringes had beads threaded to them and tied.
See, but you have that in your blood.
But I don't look Native. I really don't. But if you saw a picture of my great grandma, she doesn't look Native either. And she's more than half.
Yeah,
so,
but it's more appropriate for you to dress up as an Indian princess than me, say.
And I love all. What are you trying to do?
Nothing. I was gonna say I got 5 on it.
He's so bad. But
I'm surprised you didn't stick that down your shirt.
I'm sure he'll try to come over here and try to shove it down there. I'm thinking that he was holding on to it, and I was like, what are you trying to do? And he was trying to fold it and be all soft. Happy Valentine's Day. But I worry about that too. It's like, it's not fair for people to assume that you can't. It's like, I don't mean disrespect. I mean absolute respect. Like, this is a character I love, and it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Like, I love Domino. Like, she is one of my favorite characters. She just empowers people, and she's a powerful woman character. Yeah. I love Storm too. And, these women are triumphant. And it's like, you just want to be able to do it justice. Like, you want to have that moment where you feel like them.
Absolutely.
Empowered like them.
I love my superheroes. I've done Domino. I've done Dazzler. It just, something about dressing up as superheroes does empower me. And when I dressed up as Jill Valentine, there was one, here's the thing. The toxic fandom it's everywhere. It doesn't matter what fandom you're a part of. There's always going to be a form of toxicity in every fandom. And fanboys do not like seeing their characters portrayed by, I guess, bigger women. They will always pick you apart, and if you don't look exactly like the character, they will not be silent about that. So when I posted up my picture of my Jill Valentine costume, and I had so many people. Well, I had more likes on it than I did people commenting about how much they hated it, which is something that you have to look at. Just look at how many likes and how many positive people are actually commenting. Yeah. Compare it to those who are saying that they hate it. That's what you need to focus on.
But that's still a hard thing to relegate, because you know, like the normal cosplayer that's not making money off of it does it for fun. Like, we do it because we love the characters. We do it because we enjoy, that fandom. And when somebody tries to, kick us in the shins for doing it, that bothers me. It's like, okay, well, why do you think that I picked that character?
Yeah.
I didn't pick the character for you. I picked the character for me. And, Jubilee has always been one of my very most favorite X-Men. And, I've always really wanted to be able to cosplay for whatever. I don't know. I just really wanted to. And so I looked at all the different ways that I could manage doing it. And I just feasibly couldn't afford to try to put it all together in the time that I had. But it was fun. And it was something that I could have done and could have done tastefully, because she wore a lot more clothes than others.
Yeah.
And it made me more comfortable. It would have been something that I would have been more comfortable wearing. Because it would have been a more normal thing for me to wear.
Yeah.
It's not really normal to wear. Well, it's not really, but more normal than the
trying to look for a Jubilee costume myself, and trying to look for a yellow raincoat, and even at thrift stores, they are really hard to find.
And so I called a few places to try to see if I could have somebody make something. It was going to be astronomical. I'm going to wear it 1 or 2 times. As it would end up being my Halloween costume, 20 years. It would just be something I wore all the time. And which I guess wouldn't be a terrible thing, because you get would be known for that character, I guess. But, I have a Renaissance outfit that I wear every Halloween, because I can't justify having spent the, $150 on it as it was.
Yeah.
And I don't go to Renaissance fairs anymore. So, I have to figure out how to use it every year. So this year I used it with my Sugar Skull costume. And the year before that, well, there was lots of years I was either a witch or a vampire, because that's what it worked out as. Because it's a black peasant dress with a bodice. And now I'm essentially too fat for that too, because it's too small for here now. If it's fine here, it'll suck everything up and push it all. Well, everything there is to push up.
Yeah.
But Ryan still says that the best costume that I ever made myself was the Take That Clown for the Circus album. And it was hilarious, because I had I had a pair of like plaid pants, and I just wore plaid pants, my pink shirt, and I bought a derby cap with like a clown derby cap at the costume store. Literally cost me like $3. And the wig that, dear God, I had to put my hair up in, which was terrible. And a nose. And I did all my makeup and everything. And I just went as a clown the one year. And I hate clowns, just to preface this. Like, I hate clowns. But I could go as a take that clown because it wasn't scary.
Yeah.
But I just loved, I love doing fun stuff like that. And Halloween's always been my favorite.
Yeah.
And it was my favorite until I had kids of my own. And then I'm like, oh my God. Everything becomes so much more exhausting when you're a mother. And also more exhausting when you're a teacher as well. Like, people don't realize, like, I don't hate Valentine's Day, but I don't like it anymore either. Because in middle school, these kids raid the dollar store to buy everything for their friends. So it's like stuffed animals and balloons and flowers and candy and it's like this humongous. It's humongous.
Do you encourage your class to hand out Valentine's Day cards to everyone, or do you just kibosh that whole thing?
Well, now my kids are too old, so we don't do any of that. But and they weren't allowed to bring any of it to school either. Like, at previous schools I'd been at, they did like a raffle ticket thing where they like connected the ticket to whatever you brought somebody, and they would hold it for you for the day because you couldn't carry it around. Hi, John.
Holly. Hey, how's it going?
But this, where I'm at now, they don't even bring it. Like, they told them to exchange it on your own time. Don't bring it here.
See,
so
kind of nice. I remember being in junior high and dating one guy named Walter, and there was a thing where we were able to buy roses, and different color roses meant something different. Well, yeah, if you got like pink roses, it meant love. If you got a red, or it's like if you got like a yellow rose, it meant friendship or something like that. Well, I bought Walter 2 roses. I didn't get anything. And so I'm just like, okay, weird. So I think I kind of embarrassed him. But I was kind of taken aback because I'm like, okay, well, maybe he doesn't have a whole lot of money, but this was my allowance that I spent on him, kind of thing. Good thing that relationship didn't last.
It was funny because they had like the Valentine's grams or something, like, so they did take a piece of paper and they put a little sucker on it or whatever. You paid $1 and you got it delivered to you 7th period. And it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And for me, I never got one, so it's not really a big deal.
That's just it. Like, I met from any of the guys, I never even when it wasn't a relationship with anybody, I never. If anybody had a crush on me, I did not know. They kept it very quiet. But yeah, no. And then there was the, I would always be the one to initiate.
Oh yeah. Brian says, so how many people do you think liked you and never told you? And I said, well, I don't know. I said, cause I'm really dumb. Like, I wouldn't have known. Like, even if they were like unsure of whether I would have liked them back, like, I would have never known in the first place. Like, I'm dumb like that. Like, I have no clue. And so he laughs. He's like, well, if they were interested in you, you wouldn't have said anything. And I'm like, I wouldn't have known. Like, I feel the same. Like, it would have been boys, girls. It wouldn't have mattered.
Aw.
Somebody's tired.
All right, good night, buddy.
Do you need to send them to bed?
No, the other one's already asleep somewhere. He's already crashed. He's already crashed out for the night. Brighton will at least put himself to bed. Oliver falls asleep wherever he falls.
You just have to pick him up.
Yep, put him back in bed.
I tell her I tagged her because I can't send it to her.
Oh, Brian tagged you in one of the pictures
okay.
of my clown costume for Halloween.
Oh, okay. There we go.
I look a little bit like John Wayne Gacy. It's a little freaky.
God.
Now that I'm looking at the makeup, I'm like, well, that's creepy.
That's little monkey.
Yeah.
That's Monkey Brighton too.
That's adorable. Kind of have like a Marcel Marceau look to it, though.
I was a little yeah. I don't know why I don't have a nose. Like my nose must have came off, or it must have scared Brighton or something. I don't know.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a fan.
Oh,
you always have fans.
Okay. Why is it now that I'm getting the fans? Like, where were you guys 10 years ago when I was trying to get this show off the road? I can't wait to see what you have up your sleeve there, John.
Yeah. Did you see John's comment on the other show we were doing?
He keeps saying that he's in love with me.
Don't tell anybody, but I am in love with Willow. And I'm like, do people just say that to you because your husband is like behind the scenes? Like,
you know what?
I feel like if they really knew, like he's the guy nobody sees. So like they always see Brian. I'm sitting next to him at the kitchen table, like they always see him. So maybe they think that Joe doesn't really exist.
You know what? It's funny that you say that. Yes, he is my Maris. But the thing is, you actually do hear him comment in the background now.
Yeah, you do. He does exist. He really does exist. It cracks me up though, because we do have a good time. I have to say, at least we have fun. But it's all good.
It was funny because when we first started dating, any family gatherings, like I wouldn't be able to join in on a lot of family gatherings because I'd always be at work. So he'd go to the family gatherings by himself. And they're like, so where's your girlfriend? Oh, she's at work. I think it was like
always at work
for like 2 years. I was always working.
You're like, she doesn't exist. She's always at work.
And I think there was, I think there was like one time, I think it was either Easter or Christmas that I finally managed to get a day off for the gathering. And they're like, oh, so you're the famous girlfriend. I'm like, yes, no, he did not.
I am.
He did not have to purchase me.
It's so funny. It's so funny when we think about like pretty sure that Brian and I are everywhere. Like our presence online, I don't think my presence doesn't exist without him. Like he forces me to be friends with
I'm
people.
like a Sleek Panther.
Lurking in the shadows. I don't know. I'm just one of those people. It's like I deal with so much during the day that I'm just, I don't really feel like it. Brian's like, you need to do this. I'm like, why do I need to do this?
Uh-oh.
I don't know what he heard. Okay, so to bring this back to music.
Okay.
Top 10 songs for the wedding dance floor.
Okay.
10. Oh, your hands are cold. The Thompson Twins, In the Name of Love. Ow, Brighton. Oh. Chic, I Want Your Love. Jean-Paul Young, Love is in the Air. The Sonics, Have Love Will Travel. Sister Sledge, We Are Family. Shut up. What? There's nothing out there. Go eat them then. Now he's looking out the door like, I want to go out there. Go get him, Dingo. Go get the baddies.
See, okay, right here, 20 years later, a super cute girl like me and never told me. Okay, if I were to go to my high school reunion, if there is such a thing this year, for 20 years, and okay, so there was this one guy that I was fawning over for a very long time when I was in school. And I was trying to date him, and then he kept telling me, no, I want to focus on schoolwork. And so I dated his best friend. That's a good way of getting someone pissed off at you. So we dated for a year, and then I can't remember why we broke up. Anyway, that's besides the point. So again, I tried to date my friend Michael because we were friends for a very long time. We were friends from like grade 5 and on, right? And then so yeah, he kept telling me no. Freaking end of high school, I meet Joe, we start dating, and then of course he drops the freaking bomb. Oh, I like you, dude. I hate you.
Talking to me for 10 years. Shut up.
When you do that, like the fact that you're coming out now and telling me this after how long that we've been friends and how long, I pined over you. I can't do this. And then of course he's like, well, you have to choose between me or Joe. 20 years later, who do you think I chose?
But you know what? It makes me laugh because I think we always end up friends with that guy friend, and then we get either friend zoned or we friend zone them. And so like my best friend in high school is the same thing. It's like, I told you, he's telling you, he has a crush on you. But I'd said something like multiple times. I was like, well, we should. But it was never something that we were going to do. We ended up hanging out in his basement and watching movies and playing pool. And, we hung out together, and I hung out with his friends, but we were friends. And no, we didn't. And then when we all went to college, like I stayed at home and went to college, the commuter campus, and he went to state and he met a girl, and I was like, well, like I'm super happy you're happy. That sucks for me, but I'm super happy you're happy. And they're still together, and they have a great relationship and a beautiful boy. And, I'm like, hey, things work out. Like, I mean, I have Brian and all of our craziness that happens here, and I wouldn't change a thing. But would it have made any difference if they would have told me back then? Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably wouldn't have believed them. But I'm like, whatever.
I know. But
there was plenty of times I put my heart on the line, and they ended up being douchebags about it. So it's like, well, I probably wouldn't have believed him anyway. So.
But I mean, like, considering I don't think I had that many friends in high school that were really in my class. Like, I got picked on way too often in high school. I stuck to being in the cafeteria to get away from the bullies. And so, yeah, no, I just 20 years later, I don't want to go into my high school reunion just to face people that bullied me.
Well, and maybe that's what retreated me into band. Like those were my people, and I hung out with my friends, and we had a good time, and I didn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
And there were groups of people within band, even, little cliques and things. But for the most part, like, I never assumed that I'd date or marry anybody that lived in the same town as me, so it wouldn't have mattered. And a lot of my friends, they left.
Have a good night, John.
Have a good night, John. I think I'm just a consolation prize. He has a crush on you.
No. He's very much married. That guy is very much married.
Yes, he is. I just think that's hilarious. I just think it's funny. It's just nice that we all kind of have that banter that we can kind of just be geeks together. I like that. But yeah, I don't think it would have mattered in high school. I think I probably would have had the same opinion I have now. It's like, well, okay, what do you want me to do about it? I wasn't going to stay home. Like, I didn't date anybody that I went to school with anyways. And then when I did date somebody, it wasn't anybody I went to school with. We didn't hang out in the same groups. I always dated outside of my comfort zone. Like,
what about some alternate timeline? You know, like in the NCU? Like, there's an alternate timeline Willow, an alternate timeline you. Everyone has
I don't think the alternate universe me would be that. It would be a nerd. I think, you know what? I think the alternate universe me would be probably the complete opposite of me. It probably girly girl and valley girl.
Well, I'm a basic bitch somewhere. Like, I know I am. Just some white girl, just some basic white girl somewhere. Like that's my alternate timeline. Nothing special. And the cool part of me is here in this timeline. That's not really saying much, because but I don't know. I like how things turned out for me. Like, would I love for stuff to be like the movies, but shit like that doesn't happen to real people. So,
yeah,
I got my own set of crazy right here.
See,
and we were.
I don't know. I'm more than happy going forward in my life. I don't want to go back and revisit shit. Like, if I had a time machine, I would not want to redo shit in my life at all. Like, I don't want to relive being in foster care. I'm happy being out of it.
I might go back and do my late 20s again. But again, like, my late 20s, I spent with Brian. You know, so like, I'm not going that far back looking for something different.
I probably try to move out of Steinbach a lot sooner, but I don't know. Then that would mean, during the time that me and Joe took our break away from each other, and we got back together at a pivotal time in my life where, we both needed each other. So I don't know. I honestly.
So Brian, okay, look, the boys were trying to feed the rat, like our poor that we lost just now. So the boys are trying to feed it, and so they put some evaporated milk on the table, and it dried. So Brian came out and he wiped it up. Well, it left a ring. Guess what the ring looks like?
Oh no. Oh no. So you have a permanent penis on your
So I think it's just where it dried. It's just where the outline dried, where the sugar of the evaporated milk dried up. But Brian is like, look, like, he points to it and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, oh my God.
But I was going to say, if you go back to your 20s knowing what you know now, that could be dangerous.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. We might not end up together.
Growing in my 20s, I was.
I hear somebody laughing.
See, that's tough because I spent a couple years living in Steinbach, and it was not a good time in my life. And then when I moved to Winnipeg, I probably wouldn't work for the security company I did. That screwed me over. I probably try to stay at 7-Eleven.
I'm not knowing what I know now. Like Brian's like, you don't probably like knowing what you know now. That might be dangerous. But like, I was 25. I moved to Vegas. I was doing, and I was dancing.
You were going to the bar like every night.
Thursday through Sunday at the bar, like line dancing and drinking way more than I should have my first year teaching. And, just I was catching up. Like, I was catching up. But if I took everything that I know now about myself back with me, then yeah, I might not.
You know what? I probably would have married Joe a lot sooner. And probably would not have chosen to live with my parents, live back with my mom.
There might have been some competition, and I might have hung out at different bars. And if I knew then what I know now, I might not have been readily available to him. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I think that I always knew it about myself, but I didn't ever really publicly want to admit it, I guess. Like, I never wanted it to be something that was a conversation. And like some girls now say it just because it's the stylish thing to say. And the funny thing is one of the girls in my class, she was like, my mom says that she doesn't care what I am. She says, but you can't say you are anything until you've tried it. And I said, granted, I mean, she's not wrong, but yeah. I think that I might have said it sooner and I might have been more comfortable with it. And I think it probably would have been an interesting contrast to the way my life is currently. But would I change anything? No. Like, yeah. I'm pretty lucky. Like, for all the dumb stuff that happens to us and all the things that we've been through and all the, the minor things, like, we don't fight. And we just don't. Like,
yeah. I
don't ever feel like I'm less when I'm with him. I always feel like I'm more. And, I guess a lot of people probably don't understand that, but, I don't ever feel like I have to apologize for who I am either. Like, I'd been in relationships where I always felt like I had to apologize for who I was. I'm like, I refuse to apologize for who I am.
Yeah.
If you don't like me at my best or at my worst, then you sure as hell don't get to experience me at my best.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel.
Like, if you can't deal with all of it, then you don't get to deal with any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a relationship right before I moved to Vegas that was the most toxic thing I'd ever been in, with the exception of family, and years later he really did say that he was, he found me on Facebook and he apologized. He was like, I'm really sorry for the way that I treated you. And I said, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like, I'm big enough to forgive you. Will I ever forget? Will I ever go back? I would never go back.
Yeah.
But can I forgive you and say, it's fine. Like, I'm okay. And, being with him is part of the reason I left for Vegas. It set in motion a lot of things that had to happen in my life. And I don't think that I would be the person I am if I didn't leave.
Yeah.
If I'd have stayed in Michigan and I'd have stayed, there, I wouldn't be who I am. And, people don't have to understand that. They don't have to agree with it, because my uncle often tells me, well, you've changed. And I'm like, everybody who grows up changes.
Yeah.
Like when you really do grow up and you leave and you find out that there's way more to life than
I did not like who I was 20 years ago. I was miserable. I was not a happy person 20 years ago. I was not a happy person in my 20s, never mind in my teens. Like, it wasn't until I hit 30 and I had actually started gaining a lot more weight, and I got to, I'm now I may be a little overweight, but I realized that I'm a happier person now being a plus size woman than when I was skinny. I do not miss it one bit.
The funny thing about that is, it's like, I don't even put out there as my.
Thanks for joining us there, Roland. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Well, hopefully next Sunday. Actually, no, I'm not doing a show next Sunday. It'll be Friday. I will have some comic book guys on the show.
I'll have to watch it. I have to work though, so.
Russell Allen will be back, and so yeah, he has more comics to promote.
Check it out. I don't know. I don't get to watch nearly as much as I probably should.
Well, you have a great night, though, Roland. So yeah, see you next Friday.
Is that a fish? Little emoji, is it a fish?
It looks like a little robot from Twitch.
Okay. Put your glasses back on.
My
You're
first
40.
fan on Twitch.
Hey, that's good. We're moving on up in the world. I still can't tell what it is.
Bye.
Yeah. I don't think I was happy until I became a mom. And then
I think because once I hit 30, I think all the crap that I thought, like I stopped caring what other people thought about me and started doing my own thing.
Yep.
And it became, I realized that instead of pleasing everybody, that just made me more and more miserable. Like, I'm a huge people pleaser, and I spent my teens and my 20s trying to please, everybody around me, trying to make everybody happy, trying to do what they wanted me to do, and I was miserable doing it.
You piss a lot of people off when you finally stop doing it.
Yep.
That's what I found out, is like, as soon as I stopped living for you, you got all pissed off, and then you're mad at me because I made some choices that you didn't like. Well, you know what? I'm happy with my choices.
Yeah.
I have 2 amazing kids. I have a bonus kid that is the most thoughtful, kindest, 18-year-old on the freaking planet. Like, I have so much.
Sorry.
Well,
the monster's awake.
Oh, the time to throw food?
Pretty much. The late night snack needs to be had.
Bingo decided he was going to sleep in the chair now, so he's over there.
Oh, no.
In the chair. This dog cracks me up. He's part person, I swear. Part cat, part person, part chihuahua. Like, a 60-pound Australian cattle dog, but acts like a freaking chihuahua.
Twinkie, come here.
But he's such a good dog, so I can't really complain. I mean, other than the fact that he tries to maul me, which is not fun.
Aww.
Like today, I'm sitting on the bed and I was drinking my coffee and I was sitting in like cross-legged on my bed and I was drinking my coffee and he put his head here and had his front 2 feet in the circle of my legs.
Yeah.
And he kept trying to get closer and closer and closer. And I'm like, you can't get closer to me. Like, it's just impossible. So then when he got as close as he possibly could, he flopped down and laid on me. And I'm like, you're not a chihuahua. You're heavy.
Come.
Aw,
My
look at
Twinkie.
fat cat.
My Twinkie.
He's definitely a Twinkie. That's how you know a cat is well loved.
Quit being a little shit. I love you very much, but you are a brat.
Yep. I say that too.
Well,
I love you very much, but you are a brat.
Yeah, he's like climbing up on the counter and he's gonna knock shit over just until I get off and and go to feed him.
It's like the dog when he barks at me just to bark at me. Like I'm sitting at the table, he knows I'm on. So like when we sit down on Saturdays, it's like as soon as I pull the chair over, he knows, and he's like. And then it's full on barking. I'm like, shut up.
And then with Twinkie, he'll give you that pterodactyl scream.
I think that's why we don't have a cat. Oh yeah, I'm a boy.
Oh, that's true.
The boy, like Oliver, we would have every possible animal on the planet. Oliver is the reason we have a rat now. And I'm pretty sure that if the fact that poor Carmel was so little and probably didn't have enough sustenance or got manhandled, he probably got manhandled by Oliver. Like, this is just so much handling. Like, Oliver just loved it to death.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they do love the snake too. Like the snake is still fun. Dingo stopped being fun when he got big.
Oh no.
So now he is my dog. Well, he was always kind of my dog, but now he is my dog, full on my dog. He's like I'm his emotional support human.
Oh, when I lived in the trailer court in Steinbach, my roommate had adopted a Jack Russell Terrier, and this thing loved me. We named him Taz. He was always on my lap. I'd walk, he'd be right behind me. So yeah, there was a couple times where Joe even said, like, he goes, you babied him. Like he doesn't walk. He wants you to carry him everywhere.
Well, Dingo's big. I can't carry him, but he will follow me in every room. Like, and our house is small. Our house is less than 1,000 square feet. So like the kitchen, the dining room, like, the kitchen is here, the dining room's here, the living room's here, and the bedrooms are behind us. And there's it's about 10 steps to get everywhere in the house. And so if Dingo really tried, no matter where I am, he could see me if he tried. But he's got to follow me everywhere.
Yeah.
So if I go in the bathroom, this is no joke, the dog comes in, he sits next to me. And then if he knows that I'm in there and I'm going to be in there for a little while, or even if I'm not really going to be in there for a while, he'll lay in front of the sink. just hanging out waiting for me.
Yep.
I'm like, why are you leaving? So now the kids leave me alone, but the dog still comes in to bother me. I'm like, really? I just really just want to pee by myself.
That's like my cats. Like I'll go to the bathroom and at least one or two of them will come in and join me. And of course, Rusty has to go into the sink and it's like, trying to, or he'll jump up on the toilet and I'm like, I should have called you Molnir because trying to get a fat orange cat off the toilet so that you can use it is
the thing is I really believe that Dingo is probably the other dog reincarnated because he does exactly the same things. Like he leans on me. So I'll have this dog that's like this. I'm like, Dingo, get off me. And he looks at me and he licks me. I'm like, you need to figure out how to cuddle with people. Like he doesn't know how to cuddle. He wants to lay on top of you and lick you. I get home from work. I take my shoes off. This is no lie. My feet have been in shoes all day. And Brian will tell you this, the least attractive thing about me. Well, probably not the least. There's a lot of other things that are probably not so good. But so I take my shoes off and they've been in shoes all day and socks all day. So they're not pretty. They're not pretty feet and they don't smell all that great. And so I'll put my shoes and my socks go in the pile to wash because now we wash uniforms all the time. It feels like at the house. So I'm sitting there with my feet up on my chair and they're like kind of dangling off like Lily Tomlin in the big rocking chair,
Yeah.
And so he'll come up and he'll just sit there and lick my feet for 5 minutes. Like just licks my feet. Licking between my toes. And that's why I love him.
Oh.
So he'll lick my toes. It's really weird. It's really weird. It's bizarre.
Okay, so we had Joe's sister's cat stay with us for a little bit while she was trying to figure out her shit. Never did. But anyway, so I loved these cats. They were so cute. We had Gizmo. Oh my God. Why am I blanking on? We had Gizmo, Chloe, and I'm blanking on the other one. But Gizmo would... Oh, Widget. Thank you. So Gizmo would go into Joe's underwear if he left him on the floor. And she would just she loved smelling his clothes. And there was one time where she just wrapped herself up around, like she got inside the underwear and she just, I guess something freaked her out and she started running and the underwear was like wrapped around her. I'm just like, I could not stop laughing. It was the most hilarious thing. Like it was like superhero cat with a pair of gitch around her neck. So of course I had to go chase her down so that I can save her from the underwear. But no, it's just like I just never understood what dirty underwear.
Dirty underwear, like Dingo will when I take all of because after school now, because of the pandemic and everything, I take all of my clothes off and put my pajamas on when I get home. So we make a pile of the kids' uniforms and then my clothes and stuff because we're the ones out, wherever. So I'll take everything off, including my socks, and I'll put my pajamas on. And so I put it out on the floor until it goes in the washing machine. So Dingle will come over and he'll put his nose to the floor and just smell my pants.
Oh.
And I'm like, Dingo? Ew.
Right?
I'm like, his like,
animals do like the really creepiest stuff.
Okay.
I like that's even with the cats we have now. Like they'll sleep. So we have a cat named Midnight, and she's she's the smallest cat we have. She's our little black calico, or multicolored calico cat. Tortoiseshell. Thank you. So anyway, if I leave one of my bras on the floor, she'll sleep inside it. So it looks like a little Pokeball, a cat lying inside a Pokeball.
It's funny because he'll want to lay next to like my feet. So if I lay on my side and I like pull my feet up, and so he'll lay on this side of my legs. So if I don't cover up, he'll jump up there and he'll lay right there. Well, then he's laying on the blanket. So Brian makes him get off the bed, and so he can cover us up, and then Dingle will get back up there. So Dingle will always get mad when Brian kicks him off the bed, and then he'll like lay down and he'll go, like fine. And so then I'll have a dog's face in my face while I'm laying there. He's like, and so he'll jump up, and then he'll spin around 250 times or whatever it takes him to figure out what he's going to do. I'm like, why are you walking in circles? It's the same thing you were sitting in before. And so he'll finally like flop down, and I'm like, okay. And anytime I move, so like the other night, so I think it was Thursday night, he had to go to the bathroom. So it was like, I don't know, maybe it's 1:30, 2:30, something. And so I let him out, and I sat in the chair, and then I let him back in, and then I came back to bed. And so he laid on the floor. And so I was like, what was wrong with him last night? He's like, I don't know. I had to let him out before you let him out. And I said, well, he's still acting weird.
Yeah.
So I let him out again. So Friday night, I swear to God, he did the same thing. And I swear to God, I let him out. So Friday night, I took a whole one of my anxiety pills so that I could sleep the entire night.
Yeah.
So I took one, and I told Brian, I said, I woke up at 1:30 and I think I let the dog out. And I said, but at 5:30, I woke up and I was in the chair, and I didn't know how I got to the chair, and Dingo was sitting in the chair next to me. And I swear that I fell asleep before I let him in. And he's like, that was the night before. And I'm like, so where was I last night? And he's like, why? Because at 5:30, he comes out and he like taps me on the shoulder. He's like, are you coming back to bed? And I'm like, how the hell did I get out here? And
weird.
So Brian's like, well, just come back to bed. And so I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. So I woke up again at 7. No, that was the other night. So at 5:30, I woke up and I'm like, well, this is weird. I don't remember how I woke up. So I went back to bed. And then when my alarm clock went off, I like woke up and I was like, holy crap. So I asked him, I said, so did I let the dog out last night? And he said, I don't think so. Like, I don't remember anything. So I didn't sleep. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I ended up in the chair. I don't know. I don't know. So I told Brian, I said, you have to be careful.
Wow.
I said, because I used to sleepwalk, and my aunt found me on the porch the one night. And I said, so can you hide my car keys? Like, make sure I can't find my car keys.
Yeah.
Because heaven forbid that I, do something crazy. And it's not even like ambient or anything weird like that. I was like, I don't know where I was. He's like, when did you come out here? I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
He says, I thought you were in bed sleeping. I said, I came back in here at like 5:30, 6:30. And he's like, well, I thought you were in here the whole time. I'm like, no, I was in the chair.
Wow.
I don't know. I got
That's crazy.
And Dingle was next to me the whole time. But I swear I let him out. I don't remember letting him in.
Wow, that's creepy. Is it your medication maybe causing that too?
I don't take a full one ever.
Okay.
Like the last time I took a full one was the last time I got it refilled. This time when I got it refilled, I haven't taken a whole one. I take a half or a quarter because it doesn't take much. I only sleep about 5 hours a night. So if I take more than that, I have to make sure that I'm going to get somewhere near 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm dead the next morning, like a zombie. And so that night I took a whole one and I don't remember anything. Like, I don't remember falling asleep. I remember falling asleep in the chair. And then Brian said, hey, you want to go to bed? And I was like, okay. And then I got in bed. I remember laying down, but I don't remember anything after that. I don't remember covering myself up. I don't remember anything. And then I remember waking up and thinking I had to let the dog out, but I don't remember how I got to the chair. I don't know how long I was out there. I don't know. Like, I was like, whoa, this is weird. But it was strange.
I like your husband. Dad jokes. And now it begins, and now my husband's gonna start up with his dad jokes.
I think it might be a good time for us to end the show because
oh god,
it's 6 inches long, 2 inches wide, and makes everyone go crazy. I don't know
what is it, Brian?
I'm afraid.
Type faster.
Yep. Oh, Lord. Here we go. We probably should stop while we're ahead, huh?
Well, okay, yeah, I guess we should end the show eventually.
3 hours and 42 minutes in. And I don't know how long of it we haven't been on topic.
This is probably the longest episode of Willow's Pillow Talk, but definitely not the longest episode of Reels and Heels.
No.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
boobs.
now there's boobs in the comments. We gotta go.
All right. All right. Well, you guys can find me everywhere on social media. I'm the social media socialite. Nicole, where can we find you?
You can find us at Reels and Heels on Facebook and on the HWWS web.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find us the same place you can find Willow. We're Saturdays at 2:15 Eastern. We talk about anything wrestling and movies and all kinds of craziness. And we're pretty much never on topic either. Depending on who's on our show. And then you can find me at Comics in the Classroom and just search my name. I'm on everything too, except for Twitch. But
you can find our merchandise on Threadless. Yeah.
Our coffee mug is right there.
Speaking of which, I need to buy myself a Reels and Heels t-shirt.
Yeah. Me too. We don't even have anything.
I need to, get off my ass and actually spend some money.
I need to make money that I can spend.
He's bought more Lego than I spent on any presents for Christmas and birthdays. And I feel like a complete jackass, but at the same time...
Brian will still not let down the fact that he managed to surprise me with a birthday party for my 40th. He still has not forgiven me, I guess, for not coming through. Although he does have the box set of the Nightmare or the Friday the 13th, the last box set of the Friday the 13th movies. And, that was a nice chunk of change. And I managed to surprise him with that, although I'm sure he probably knew because he told me that they were doing some, disc whatever. They had to send him a new disc or something. So anyways, I'm not as good at giving gifts as he is, I guess, but whatever.
I'm not as good at gift giving, but I am, where I do make up for being somewhat romantic. So speaking of romance,
we all have our
well, okay, it was it was
He's over
great
here going, I'm going to make a
Valentine's Day
comment.
with
I'm
you.
going to make a comment.
All right, you have a great night. Go spend whatever is left of Valentine's Day with your
Oh my God, you're terrible, Brian. All right, well, we will see you on Saturday.
Yeah, take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.